Mike Storey, rocking the shirt, Professional Fanatics, NFC East. We're on to the 6th division, Storey. We've done 5. We're getting to the good ones now. Fantasy-friendly divisions.
This is I wouldn't call it a good division because you do still have the New York Giants in there, but it is a fantasy-friendly division. You're 100% right on that.
Yeah, man. Before we get into that, though, I want to get your pulse on Brandon Ayuk. I know we kind of knew we knew about the driving incident when he recorded himself essentially taunting the Niners, even though they should be taunting him, speeding, showing the speedometer, being a clown, and then, posting it on social media, which is evidence essentially. So he just handed police evidence of it's not a felony, but it's a crime. It's reckless, and it's funny, I guess, is the bottom line. So what is your take on this? Is this going to affect someone signing him? Because we already have the issues with his injury, coming back from injury, being out of shape, being out of football, being a knucklehead, all these things. And now we have this on top of it.
This is odd behavior from Brandon. I guess it's not odd behavior from the recent Brandon we've seen. He was awesome before the injury. The injury seems to have made him I wouldn't say, okay, I should take that back. He was awesome before he got paid. Like, awesome before he got paid, right? Then he had 3 terrible games and 1 really good game before he got injured, and now he's just gone off the reservation. It is odd behavior. This is the actual parking ticket situation, speeding ticket. I'm not too worried about that. It's just like mentally, I don't think he's all the way there. And at this point, what does San Francisco realistically expect to get for him in a trade? So why trade him? Like, he isn't going to cost them a ton of money. And the longer this goes on, the lower the dead cap is going to be. So I hate to say it, but Nick was right where they're going to probably just keep him on the roster and let him stick around and punish him, basically.
I didn't know this. Jonathan said best part on his Instagram, he posted him at a track racing in a Mercedes after the warrant. That's like getting a DUI and then like posting yourself like doing a beer bong. Like, hey guys, like I'm out of jail and I'm good. Or it's pretty much like Shia LaBeouf. Like that's what he's turning into. So yeah, they're not the Niners aren't getting shit for him. They were never probably getting anything for him, which is all the injury stuff, like I mentioned, all the stuff around him. Would this like sway you from signing him if you're the Commanders? Because that's the destination, right?
Signing, I would expect it to be a pretty minor contract when he does sign somewhere. So no, this probably wouldn't dissuade me at all. I'd be concerned about the mental, but as long as there's not you don't get tripped up in a trade, I don't see any reason they should be terribly concerned with what the cost, like the actual financial cost is going to be.
No, I think the more worry is, do you want to bring this guy in your locker room?
Oh, like is
that's
he
the
big fancy in the locker room?
Yeah, but the thing is, with the way you mentioned, cheap deal, you just cut his ass. You cut his ass. You put him on a 0 tolerance policy. You post any stupid shit. You start anything in the locker room. If you're that out of shape, like we're just cutting bait because it's going to cost us nothing. It's going to be a veteran's minimum deal, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be nothing.
It'd be a veteran's minimum, which for a wide receiver is what these days? 1.4.
Yeah, think of what, like, that's why the Kyler Murray thing happened. It didn't cost them anything. This will cost. My worry is Kyler, as rough as he is in terms of being, he's a quarterback, but he's not really a problem in the locker room. I think guys don't really like him, but he's not a problem. Like there's no off the field stuff.
He's
if anything, JJ McCarthy's the problem there, right? Talking shit about.
Right? Yeah, that guy's kind of off his rocker too. But with Kyler Murray, it was never about him being a problem. He never was. His distraction was his work ethic. People were questioning his work ethic. Did he put the time in? The video gaming, right? Exactly. You just mentioned that. So, or you mimed it. So, but it looks like Kyler's kind of turned it around. Like he is a consummate professional, and everything I've seen come out of Minnesota is it's Kyler's job to lose now. He has solidified it, even though Kevin O'Connell's still saying it's a competition. Like Kyler is the one that's putting on the face that you expect. So him, great. Ayuk, I don't know, man. Like maybe he doesn't want to play football anymore, and he's like taking the route of like I'm going to make them break up with me, right? And not great. I've done that before. Not great advice, but sometimes people do it.
I am going to have to break up with you. I knew Wally would get upset by that comment. He said, "Oh, please." Wally, you saw the dual like individual interviews, right? Kyler was the professional, and then you have JJ McCarthy being like, "Yeah, it's just like high school. We just don't talk." Like, bro, come on, man. Like JJ, grow up a little bit.
How did he get no media training on a national championship run and then being a first round pick, not even for like a top Was he the first overall pick? Was McCarthy the first?
No. That was the good quarterback year. He went like eighth overall.
Okay. Still top 10 pick.
Top 10. Yeah.
And then he got hurt, so you're gonna have to answer questions about that. And then you play poorly. Like he doesn't have a manager that's gonna hire a publicist so that they can be like, hey, when they ask you this question, you should respond this way. That's just bad planning.
There's kind of a diagram for this kind of stuff, and as much as we hate like coach speak and player speak, I also hate like smart ass speak. You know, like what I did appreciate. Remember Marshawn Lynch's interview where he just said one word, or the old Belichick interview, onto the Dolphins.
So Belichick would kind of answer questions, but very minimally. There was one press conference when Marshawn Lynch repeated over and over, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." And since he retired, like he has done, he did a cameo in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's doing, media stuff. He's doing like broadcasting stuff. It's awesome to see him out and his personality. He just hated talking to the media, and he hated the fact that he was forced to do that.
Did you ever see the Marshawn Lynch DUI video? It was in Vegas. Dude, you got to look this up. So Marshawn Lynch is very lovable just because, obviously a hell of a player, but he just, like, for some reason people love Marshawn Lynch. I love Marshawn Lynch. But like now he gets a bunch of ad money. He's like on the sideline on Super Bowl games and shit. People love him. But there's a documented DUI where he was so fucked up. It was like early in the morning. It was like light out. And his fucking tire was off. He was riding on the rim, and he had no idea what was going on. He was like sleeping, and like the cops were being nice to him. It was a chick cop. She was like joking with him because they knew it was Marshawn Lynch. I'm just saying, like, that's pretty crazy shit to come back from, to get like sponsor money and shit, to be on commercials.
Yeah.
After doing something like that. Oh, you got to watch it after this. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's like 20 minutes long, dude.
It looks like they're like dragging him out of the car.
Dude, it's just funny because like his car, he's literally driving without a tire. Like he was driving like that for a while, and then he hit like a fire hydrant or some shit, and then passed out. You know what's pretty odd? It was like Charlie Sheen behavior is what it was. But you know what? We celebrate that in this country. So, Marshawn, more power to you if you can keep on doing these crazy things as long as nobody gets hurt. All right,
it's
cool with it.
It's either like early morning, like late early morning, or it's the middle of the day. Like there's no sign of it being dawn or dusk or whatever. Like it's, oh my God, his car is messed up. That is crazy.
Right? Nice car.
Watch the whole video.
Last thought on Brandon Ayuk. Would you touch him in fantasy this year if he goes to the Commanders?
Yeah.
He's going at, wide receiver 60.
Right. So what round pick is that?
14th.
Sure. I'll take a shot at him. I'll take a shot at him now in best ball still. He might be a dead asset, which is not ideal, but if he's late enough and yeah, because if he does end up signing with the Commanders, his ADP is going to rise. So you're going to get some closing line value if he does end up signing somewhere, the Commanders, anywhere. You're going to get something. His ADP will rise a little bit.
Oh, I forgot to play our Brandon Ayuk clip. Here you go.
Very cute.
Oh,
what's his name?
It's Kwame.
It's Kwame. Kwame. Mm-hmm. Nice name. Nice name.
Thank you. I think so too.
It's a little light for Kwame, no?
What?
A lot of names to pick, but it was a little darker, maybe.
Yeah, can you go?
That's very scary.
You need to get out.
Hey, any guys want ginger ale?
Here, get the fuck out.
Want a ginger ale?
Oh, that's awesome. All right, sorry, Brandon, but you know what? I am still going to draft you because I can separate my hate for a player and them being bad people from winning money and playing fantasy, and that's the biggest thing. Tyreek Hill for years, right? We drafted Tyreek Hill.
It's too bad he went off the reservation. I got a soft spot in my heart for Brandon Ayuk. He helped me win a college fantasy football championship, so he's always going to have
ASU, baby, ASU.
Right.
And he had 2 really good years, advanced metric wise, especially. I was always a part of the camp saying that it was Shanahan made Brandon Ayuk more than Brandon Ayuk made himself. It's a great role.
So a lot of questions about when he came in the league, he was marginalized by Shanahan. They had some kind of beef. Once he got on the field, he performed very well. Then he had the holdout, and he ended up getting paid very close to the season. I really don't like this situation with guys holding out. Like it's probably anecdotal, but we've seen it over and over again. Dude holds out. He gets to camp late. He gets paid. Terry McLaurin last year, and then he spends 10 games on the IR last year. Very difficult to wrap your head around whether this is all just coincidental or if there's something to this. Guys coming late. Just something that's in the back of my head.
All right, so we're gonna get to the AFC East here.
NFC East.
NFC East. I keep on saying AFC East. AFC rolls off the tongue better. So thank you, Storey. All right, NFC East preview. Give me your pulse of the division. I'm going to read you the odds here. Eagles are plus 130. Cowboys are plus 220. Washington's plus 475. And the Giants bringing up the rear plus 600. So is that how you see it?
Yeah, that's pretty standard. I would expect that most places would have it almost exactly down like that. That's the way that I see it. Except I shouldn't say that. I actually have Washington over Dallas. We talked about that in our schedule breakdown. I've got Washington over Dallas. Yeah, like Eagles at plus 130. It's amazing that didn't drop even a little bit after the A.J. Brown trade. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they've been that plus 130 for a while, right?
Everyone's just already known A.J. Brown's gone. I think it was a matter of just a formality and the dates. Like, we all knew it. Like, it was you said 95% chance. That's what actually the markets were saying as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I know people were so shocked when it happened. But so both the Cowboys reshuffled their roster quite a bit. The Giants tried to improve through the draft. The Commanders were also heavy on the defensive front, and the Eagles just did what the Eagles do, is to continue to dominate the league when it comes to offseason moves and drafting. So, I mean, they were the first back-to-back division champs. The Eagles were last year in 20 years or something like that. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think they're going to win their third division title in a row.
So obviously they're not the value, because for value we're looking at longer odds. Is it Washington for you at plus 475, almost 5-1 odds? For me, it's the Cowboys plus 230. I think this is a 50-50 chance. Or no, you know what? I think it's 40-40, and I give Washington a 20% chance to win this division just based on the fact they went to the NFC Championship game just 2 years ago, and Jaden Daniels was a rookie. But the Cowboys have actually gotten better. You think the Eagles have gotten better from last year? There's no way.
Well, A.J. Brown is another year older, so we expect Devonta Smith to take that step forward and become that true number one wide receiver. I like the addition of Mekhi Lemon. I like the addition of Eli Stowers. I think Goddard could have, I mean, the metrics weren't great last year, but he could have a ton of touchdowns. Just this is an addition by subtraction. You know how I feel about last year's offense, in particular one person. Let's call him Voldemort, the guy who shall not be named. I think they're going to be a lot better just because of the transition to a different offensive coordinator this year. They should be more efficient. They should have a ton more motion. Offensively, I think they're great. And the defense improved, I would say, marginally over last year.
The Cowboys are running it back on offense, and that's more than enough to win this division.
Yeah, but
give me the number that the Cowboys have to be at defense. They have to be a top half defensive team to win this division.
The defense is going to be much improved. I don't think that the offense is going to be as prolific as it was last year. First of all, it won't need to be. Was the defensive Caleb Downs in and of himself is going to make a big difference for this team. Like, that number 11 overall pick was a very wise move. I don't like the way that Jerry handles the offseason in terms of like signing guys. I think you're only frustrating George Pickens. And if you make George Pickens pissed off and he starts doing off-field stuff, like, what does their offense realistically look like? CeeDee Lamb, sure, he's great, but you know, what do you have outside of that?
You have Dak Prescott, who is awesome. Cool. I know you hate Dak Prescott, but he's awesome.
He's good, but I wouldn't call him awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Do you give the Giants any shot?
Awesome quarterbacks win playoff games.
Justin Herbert has never won a playoff game. He's pretty awesome.
Case in point.
Okay. Do you give the Giants any shot at plus 600? Jonathan says Giants have no wide receivers, just a bunch of dust bunnies. Well, they have Malachi Fields, who I love, and you're warming to, I think. And they have possibly Mike Neighbors.
I tried to talk you into Darnell Mooney because I think that guy could actually do something. I was in on him last year, and I think this is now his opportunity. Jonathan's hit the nail on the head. They got a bunch of old dudes just kind of creaking around the field, and Neighbors' knee is mashed potatoes. I do not like the way that guy looks. You ever watch that softball game I mentioned? Watch that clip?
I didn't want to watch it because I still like drafting Neighbors at value in best ball. And
there's no value. I don't think the value there. He's got to drop a full round for me to start thinking about him. Like
he kind of has, you know, he's going mid-third. Which
if he doesn't start the season on the pup, then he's going to destroy your fantasy team for the first 4 weeks because the ramp-up period. Now, if you're in Dynasty, I think Neighbors is an awesome pick because down the road, the risk of re-injury, once you're fully healthy, is pretty minimal for this type of injury. But the ramp-up period that you're looking at, especially if you push it early, that's going to be a problem for the Giants this year.
Blake's saying there's still 4 months of the season. Story. If you know that Blake drafted Malik Neighbors in our Dynasty Startup League, so he's tied to Neighbors for more than just this year. It's actually more like 3 months though. So
it is like
we're getting up there, Blake.
Just,
Blake, it was a fine pick because it's Dynasty. In redraft, obviously, we'd have more worries.
Like I said, I love him in Dynasty. I just think for redraft at his current cost, he's a terrible pick. Is there a hole in this?
Let's just hope. Let's hope he's either healthy and they play him. I don't want the in between where he's like he should start in the pup and they bring him back and they ease him into action. That's how you re-injure yourself, right? And that's how you get no value early on, and then he's more at risk to miss the end of the season. So like, if just get well, man. Play week 5. Play week 5. I'm fine with that, and I'll take him in the 4th round.
I mean, pup is a real possibility, but if they're pushing him back, I mean, dude, Odell Beckham Jr., the guy is dustier than dust. Like that's
he likes that dust too. You know what I mean? Up his nasal cavity.
This is such a Harbaugh thing to do, right? Let's bring in a bunch of also rans as opposed to some guys who like why is Keenan Allen not on this roster right now? Why is Odell Beckham on this roster and not Keenan Allen? Somebody tell me that. And I don't because Odell Beckham played 1 year under Harbaugh in Baltimore. Just a dumb decision.
Calvin Johnson is better than all these guys. I mean, he won't ever come back. But
All
right, let's move on to the Cowboys here. Let's go. Team you hate, Cowboys 7-9, 7-9-1 last year, 471 points for, 511 against. 511 is rough, dude.
Yeah,
rough stuff. So you don't think there's any chance? Not any chance, but like you think they're going to be a 9-win team this year, 8-win team?
No, I don't think so.
Lower?
Yeah, lower.
How could they be worse than last year? No way, dude. How?
Well, because the division got better around them, with the exception of New York. Like just because every team got better. Like literally every team got better, right? By making moves, by draft. So if every team got better, but not every team is going to actually be better this year. I think the Cowboys have a management problem. I think they have a coaching problem. I think they have a Dak Prescott problem. I don't like to lean into this too much, but like he's not a winner in my book, and he kind of crumbles when the pressure's on the line. And again, I don't like the way they handled this Pickens thing. Like if they don't sign him to by July 15th, then he's going to play under franchise tag. You think he's going to be happy to play under the franchise tag? Sure, it's a ton of money, but
he can't afford to pout and be a bitch because that'll cost the money in the long run. Now, he's not the smartest individual, so maybe he'll do this. I mean, look at Brandon Ayuk, right? Like, they don't give a shit about money, apparently, especially when they have all this supposed money, but they end up spending it and being broke in 10 years. But I digress. 10 wins for the Cowboys. 10 wins for the Cowboys.
No. I mean, the other thing is, like, they collected a bunch of pass rushers, but they're all kind of okay pass rushers, and they haven't really improved the secondary outside of Caleb Downs. So, they got Kobe Durant, fine, whatever. He wasn't very good to begin with. So I don't know. They did a lot to repair the defense, but you're going to have to go a long way to go from 511 points given up to actually competitive in this division.
You know what I like about the Cowboys? I think the Lawrence pick was good. I know the Downs pick was good. Like, we know that guy is a potential generational player. They're even last year, they were good against the run. And a big way to just make a defense step up is make the offense be one-dimensional. If they can continue to stop the run with Caleb Downs, with a better pass rush, they can actually be an average defense. And that's all we need from the Cowboys, an average defense. They win 10 games. Let's move on to the fantasy angle.
Real quick, what's an average defense in terms of, like, top 15? Because what were they last
just
year?
15th. Last year, they were probably 28th.
Bottom 5
I guess 28th.
last year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you're telling me you're going to move up 10 spots. 10 spots.
Yes.
That's wild to think.
It's yes.
Like, it's not like other teams just sat back and rested on their laurels. Like, the Bengals got better, right? Like, I don't know. I don't see it.
Let's talk about Dak Prescott, quarterback 8. So got some Dak Prescott stats for you. Through week 17 last year, Dak Prescott ranked 3rd in passing touchdowns, 1st in throws into the end zone, which we love, and 2nd in expected passing touchdowns. He's got 2 of the best weapons in football. He's got a pretty decent offensive line. I know Javonte Williams isn't great, but he's a sturdy running back. Doesn't offer too much in the ground, but he is still, 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns a year. Big boy. Yeah.
How many did he get last year?
I think 2. It's not 0. He's not Jared Goff, I guess is the point.
Right. But
Dak
doesn't really rush anymore.
No, but he can get rushing touch. Dude, he's not that dusty. I mean, I'm just telling you. He used to get 6 a year. He's not that anymore. But quarterback 8, ADP 80 on Underdog right now. So I love the weapons. And as much as I think the defense is going to be improved, it's still going to be an average unit at best. This every year, the Cowboys have the potential to be a fantasy circus team where it's just like, remember that Giants game last year early in the year where it's like 40-38, like things like that, which is fantasy gold, right? And Javonte is going to steal some touchdowns for sure, but he's not going to rush for 1,500 yards. You don't have to worry about that. There's no one behind Javonte Williams. You got CeeDee Lamb. You have George Pickens. You can't double both of them. Do you like this price for Dak? I know the rushing stuff is a little rough compared to some of the other guys going ahead of him.
Who's going? Yeah, it's okay. It's an okay price. I'm not opposed to it. It feels like Dak kind of lives in that quarterback 7 through 11 purgatory. You know what I mean? Like where he's being drafted, you can take a shot. I'm just not a huge fan of taking quarterbacks without rushing upside in that range. Also, the defense is going to be better, and that should lead to fewer fantasy, major fantasy output games next year. And they got a pretty rough schedule, especially against tough defensive players. They got to play the Rams next year. That's not going to be a cakewalk by any stretch.
So Dak has never really put it all together. He's always been really consistent. And if you remember the year he got hurt when he had that brutal ankle injury, that's when he was on pace for 6,000. It was only 4 weeks. On pace for 6,000 yards passing and 50 touchdowns.
2022, 2023.
I think it was 21 or 22.
Okay, so that was 5 years ago then.
And that was prime Dak. So and that was when their defense was also trash. What are the chances Dak throws for either 5,000 yards or 40 touchdowns?
5,000 yards or 40 touchdowns?
Yeah, either or. Well, he's going to be
5,000 is going to be rough to come by for anybody in this day and age. So, we're going to have to look at the 40 touchdowns as a much more realistic. The 40 touchdowns doesn't seem that out of the range of possibility. I would put it at a 25% chance.
Oh, woo! Well, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Because as much as I love Jared Goff, Dak goes higher because Jared Goff is more consistent and he's going to get 32 or 33 every year. I don't think Jared Goff, with the fact that Dan Campbell loves running the ball around the goal line, the Cowboys, they do, but not as much as Dan Campbell. So
no, but
that's top 5 quarterback.
If you look at it, they ticked up their red zone rushing rate and their green zone rushing rate last year. Javonte Williams lived on touchdowns last year, especially inside the red zone. Now you are correct in that there's nobody of consequence behind Javonte Williams. So for the price, if you need a nice solid RB2, he's probably your guy there. I don't know where he's being drafted though.
Well, let's talk about the running back room. Javonte Williams, running back 17, ADP 35. So you're getting him last pick of the 3rd round, kind of in that running back dead zone. Right at the start of it, I guess you'd say. But so I was diving into this for me and Chaz are doing ADP, Vegas versus ADP. And I was doing a lot of research on all the lines that they have dropped for player props. And Javonte Williams stood out to me like crazy, dude. His over-under is 975 yards rushing, which is higher than Breece Hall, for instance, and higher than a lot of guys going like ETN. Hampton, he's actually higher than Marion Hampton's rushing total. And Marion Hampton's going in the early 2nd round. So, and he also is 9.5 rushing touchdowns. His Vegas projections are actually higher than a Marion Hampton. Maybe Hampton will have more catches. I mean, most likely will. But Javonte Williams is still good for 35 or 40 catches. It's not like he's a zero. So that was one of the things that really stood out to me is Javonte Williams is severely underdrafted in fantasy. And the main point, the reason he's underdrafted is it's not because he's good. We know he's not a very good running back. He's reliable. But what's behind him? Blue, you hate Jaden Blue. So I know you're not worried about Jaden Blue.
I used to love Jaden Blue, but that guy is clearly not cut out for the NFL.
And Malik Davis is the definition of just a guy. Just a guy. Remember that game? You remember that game, Guess Who? They used to play where you have to describe. If there was a running back, Guess Who? And you're just a guy. He's just a guy. Oh, Malik Davis. You get it right every time. He's just a guy. He's fine, undersized, not a great pass catcher. This is Javonte's backfield. They paid him. I was a little bit off him, Storey, because, I had Javonte Williams everywhere last year. I was super high on him, and I was getting him in the 9th and 10th round. And now I'm looking at it. I'm dude, I got to pay potentially a 3rd round pick for Javonte Williams. It sounds gross, but the Vegas is telling you that this is not gross. It's kind of a boring pick, but the touchdowns would be there. The volume would be there. He's tied to a top 5 potential offense. That is the recipe for a top 10 running back. So it's not you're not drafting him at his floor. I feel like you're drafting him at his floor. You're not drafting him at his ceiling at all.
Nah, I mean, I feel like you're probably middle of the road with him, like probably at a median output, like third round. You can't tell me that like without the pass catching, the realistic like high upside pass catching, there's it's going to be tough for him to return value as a third round pick. So I can see it through sheer volume alone. Stays healthy, he'll definitely get there. But you can't tell me he's being drafted at his floor. Like his ceiling is not a first round pick next year or even a second round pick.
Fantasy dog. I didn't know Malik is undersized. Malik is like 5'10", 200 pounds. So kind of undersized. He's Tony Pollard size, I guess you'd say. Jaden Blue's going running back 71. Malik Davis running back 73. I don't know who the handcuff would be. You know who the handcuff might be, Story? A guy you love, Mr. Phil Maffa. A name that a lot of people don't know. Phil Maffa is essentially a Javonte Williams clone, correct?
He's a grinder. He's even less of a pass catcher. He's a grinder more so than anything else.
Right.
I think Malik Davis is probably the back to own. He appears from the camp reports. He appears to be in the lead for the running back 2 job there. Doesn't translate to a lot of work and won't be fantasy viable unless there's an injury to Javonte Williams. Also, Javonte Williams, man, another year older. I know he got a ton of volume last year. It looked okay in spots. He's not the Javonte Williams that was drafted by the Broncos. That guy has.
Oh, that was a dynamic player. That was one of the best tackle breakers and had those smooth hips. The hips have gotten a little hairy, if that makes sense. Yeah. Are you in on this price though? 17, like it's pretty fair, right? If you need a running back, it seems like a very safe pick. Like you know what you're going to get, 18 touches a week with big touchdown upside.
Yeah, it does seem safe, but again, that's why I'm not considering it an upside play. I don't think there's any way that in this offense, with how they utilize him, that he could return value as a second round pick. So I think you're drafting him at his ceiling. There's a lot that could go wrong too.
No.
Yeah, you are.
Because he finished as a top 10 running back last year per game. Okay. So I mean, if he's getting drafted at 17, let's play the game. Let's play the game, Story. Give me his upside and floor. So if he stays healthy, and let's say all the running backs stay healthy this year, I know it's a weird exercise. What is his absolute ceiling? If the Cowboys go nuclear and he's a starting running back, he's getting 80% workload, which is really rare these days, but he was getting it last year. What's his ceiling? Is it RB8?
No, it's RB15. Like if everybody stays healthy.
He just finished as a top 10 running back last year.
And he's a year older, and the defense is going to be a lot better. He's not going to get he's not insane running back. He doesn't catch passes, and he's going to be on the field less simply because there's going to be fewer snaps for the offense in general.
Well, on that point, the Dallas Cowboys have finished. Hold on.
15 running backs.
Dallas Cowboys have finished top 4 in plays each of the last 3 seasons under head coach and / offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. So that doesn't seem like it's going to change. This is a Kellen Moore situation.
You can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that the defense is going to improve vastly.
I'm going to do it.
Tell me it's going to be going back and forth. They're not going to need to go 40 points per game if they have a better if their defense improves by 30%, which is what you're predicting, them to go from a bottom 5 to a top 15. Like, there's no way that the offense is going to put up another 511 points. It's just not.
I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Is that a real clip?
Oh yeah, you didn't hear that?
No, I never heard
that. He wants glory. He was thinking glory days, not glory hole.
Yeah, I know.
A big difference.
I got it. I didn't know it was that. Also, I'm revising.
So what's his floor?
I'm revising my percentage of Dak throwing 40 touchdowns down to 15%. He's never thrown 40 touchdowns.
33 is his most, right?
I was just looking that up. God darn it. Where did that go? Well, I'll go back to it. But yeah, no.
Okay, so my mind, Javonte Williams upside is top 7-ish, top 6. Just based on volume, he could score 15 touchdowns. And he's not Derrick Henry. He's not catching 17 balls. He's catching 35 balls. His floor is about 20 to 22. And I'll tell you why. It's because there's no one taking his job. There's no one taking work from him. If they bring in Najee Harris, if they bring in Trey Benson, James Conner, I'm going to change my tune. As it's currently constructed, man, it's such a boring pick. It's not a sexy pick. No one's going to, when you put it on the board in a home league, going to be like, damn, bro, you got Javonte. I want to make money. I don't give a fuck about accolades or people sucking me off for my picks. Like, make fun of my picks. I'll make fun of you when I'm going on vacation with my winnings.
And I understand where he's coming from, and I get that. I just don't like. But last year he was a 7th round pick, and you're going to get the lesser output. You can't tell me that lesser output it makes it make sense at value at a 3rd round pick. You are absolutely drafting him at his ceiling. Like, he's not a top 10 points per game back. It just physically is impossible. Like the laws of the universe.
But last year he was. Last year he was.
Last year he was a year
We
younger.
just saw it with the same offense. We just saw it.
Okay, first of all,
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it just like if my wife does anal with me the night before, it seems to. I think that she might do it again next week. It's not like out of the realm of possibility now because she just did it. If she's never done anal with me, then I can't be like, dude, I might fuck my wife in the ass next week. No, that's not how it works.
I can't wait till Israel Bonaconda gets the goal line carries this year.
All right. Well, let's move on to the wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 5. George Pickens, wide receiver 9. Now, I talk about drafting someone they're ceiling. And then Ryan Flournoy, my boy, wide receiver 69, which, you know what? Jerry Jones is going to love this wide receiver.
I've been
69.
here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Nice.
So, CeeDee Lamb seems like fair value. I mean, he's so consistent, and I have a CeeDee Lamb stat for you. So, CeeDee Lamb scored on a career low 4% of his receptions last year. He was at 7.7% or higher each of his first 5 seasons. So, maybe that was a Pickens stat, right? Maybe it was because Pickens came in there, and Ferguson has some touchdowns as well, but I feel like I'm going to trust the fact that he's been an elite touchdown scorer, even though he doesn't really have the body type. You wouldn't think he's like one of these all-time touchdown scorers by percentages, but the stats say he has been. And he's also tied to Dak Prescott. So do you like CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver 5? And also your thoughts on George Pickens going wide receiver 9, second round?
Both of those seem a little rich for me. CeeDee Lamb, he ticked down in a ton of, including yards per, okay. So you go back to 24 before George Pickens was there. CeeDee Lamb's yards per route run 1.88. You get above 2, that's elite level, right? So 1.88, that's right there. It's awesome. His ticked down to near 1 last year when George Pickens was on the field. He dealt with injuries last year. I get that. He was battling through that concussion for a little while. He had some things, but the CeeDee Lamb pick seems a little aggressive. I can understand why you want to take him. We've seen the upside before. Pickens at 9, man. The touchdowns were certainly there. If this offense is as prolific as it was in the past, it's a pretty narrow target tree. If both of those guys are healthy, did you mention Ferguson? Because that's a guy that I'm staying away from. If both those guys are healthy.
It's in my throat when you mentioned Ferguson. He's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Again, Pickens, I had everywhere last year, and this is even grosser. Like Javonte, I know there's no one else in town. Like this is CeeDee Lamb's year in my mind, and George Pickens will be fine, but to take him ahead of Nico Collins, I see the upside because you're tied to a better offense, but he's also the number 2. To take him ahead of Devonta Smith, guys like that, like when you can get Devonta Smith 6 picks later, like he's going closer to Drake London than he is Devonta Smith. Like I'm not on board with
that. Where's London in terms of wide receiver? 7, 6?
London's about 7. Yeah, 7.
7. Yeah. Who's going just behind Pickens?
Right behind Pickens, we're looking at Drake London. We're looking at Justin Jefferson. There's a lot of running backs in the second round. So there's a big gap there. He's going much closer than Nico, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's now going right ahead of Pickens because of the move. Mm-hmm. So, like, A.J. Brown's wide receiver 8. Would you rather have A.J. Brown or George Pickens?
A.J. Brown.
Pretty easily for you?
Yeah. He's going to be in an offense that's going to throw for more yards than his first 2 years at Tennessee combined. Like he should absolutely eat next year.
Are you in on Ryan Flournoy? Because this is a perfect bench stash because it's a guy that if there's an injury, we saw what he did last year when Pickens had that pouty game. And Lamb was hurt and Pickens didn't want to play. He was just out there jogging and Flournoy goes off for 100 yards. So this is the guy I want on my bench, right? There's upside based on injury where a lot of guys
there's upside based on injury, but I don't really want him on my bench. When I'm crafting a lineup, I want those lottery shots at running back. I don't really care about the third wide receiver on most teams when you've got an extremely narrow target tree, right? LA's the same way. I expect that's why I'm not in on Juwan Jennings. I expect Minnesota's going to be the same way as well. So from a bench, like he's going to be the first guy that gets cut for that breakout running back in week 1. So probably not even going to bother looking at him in a redraft. In Dynasty, certainly a good pick. Find him at value. And best ball is a different story altogether. Like he's going to have a couple of 100-yard games here and there.
Yeah, I love him best ball. All right, let's move on to Ferguson. Jake Ferguson led all tight ends in PPR points per game and ranked second in expected points per game in the 4 outings without CeeDee Lamb. He sank to 14th in points per game and 11th in expected points per game with Lamb.
Yeah.
And this year they're going to have Lamb most certainly. He is 1 year older. You love to mention that. Ferguson is just a guy. Are you in or out on this price, the back end of the tight end ones?
Out. There's no reason to even consider him. As you mentioned, I was looking into that earlier today too. The numbers with Lamb and Pickens on the field, what they do to Ferguson's production. Why am I going to put myself through that week in and week out? There's no reason. There's better upside guys that are being drafted behind him. Isaiah Likely.
Oh, I was thinking TJ Hawkinson. So
no!
Ferguson or TJ Hawkinson story?
Ferguson.
Would you look at that?
Frank? D, what you two have discovered today is what is most commonly referred to as a glory hole.
A glory hole?
A secret portal created as a passageway for one to safely insert one's penis.
I'm sorry, a hole to stick your dick in?
That's one definition.
I've
Here's the
been
other
here
one.
when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Getting
Yeah,
a lot of mileage out of that clip.
Oh, it's a great clip. It's short, too. Let's get to a couple comments, and we'll get to the intro. Before I get to the comments, there is value to be had there here, Storey, and I want to invest in this offense because it's a very safe, fantasy-friendly offense. I know it is. As long as Dak stays healthy, which, he runs less, so he's less likely to get hurt in my mind.
He's gotten hurt every year except 2023, if memory serves. Has he played? Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But he does seem to get dinged up quite a bit. Let me double-check that.
Do you want Pickens or Nico?
Early career, he was fine, but since then, he's been 5 games played, then 16, 12, 17, 8. So you're kind of throwing a little bit of caution in the wind. What was the question?
Nico Collins or Pickens?
Nico. I want Nico Collins. I think that the improvements to the offensive line there at Houston are going to make a marked difference. Give me Nico Collins.
Fantasy Dog says these guys are good. You caught us on an off night, too. No, we're always on, dude. We're always on.
Off night.
Dean, I'm kidding. Dean said I'd rather have Chickaconquo 100 times out of 100. That was a fun show. Chickaconquo over Jake Ferguson. What are your thoughts on that? So Chickaconquo is going tight end 18, pick 150.
Yeah, if I don't have a tight end by then, sure. I'm not taking Ferguson at where he's being drafted. There's no point. I'd rather like Dean Johnson video. That's hilarious. What he says, give me a guy like I said, Isaiah Likely, Chickaconquo, guys that could potentially go elevate into that role that we've seen. It takes tight ends a little while to get there. They use Zach Ertz in Washington quite a bit. They don't really have a second wide receiver there yet. Antonio Williams is probably going to take a little while to get into form. So, yeah, give me Chig.
Definitely more upside, but Ferguson is definitely the floor play. But I'm like you. I don't like drafting a floor play there. What about Dallas Goedert?
Give me Goedert. I think Goedert's going to have a great year. I know, again, the advanced stats weren't great last year, but the offense should be markedly better than last year.
You know the answer is? The answer is always TJ Hawkinson. That's who
the answer is never TJ Hawkinson, ever.
I can't wait for TJ Hawkinson to be a top 8 tight end, getting drafted tight end 21, so I come on here with my dong out and whip you in the face through the fucking camera. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fucking glorious. Speaking of glory.
If the question was whose funeral are you going to, and it was TJ Hawkinson's, I would be like, never going to TJ Hawkinson. It's never TJ.
I just went to a wake today. Not a very
PC,
pretty gloomy place.
Yeah, not a very PC statement there either. Scratch that from the record.
No, it's fine. We're not PC stories. So what are you talking about? All right, I'm gonna hit you guys with the intro. We're gonna come back and talk about the New York Football Giants.
That was a great was that Fred Durst?
Yeah, of course. Dan Quinn Dan Quinn's got to have his head on backwards because he's only 52 years old or whatever he is.
Exactly.
So even Fred Durst doesn't wear his hat backwards anymore. And that guy made millions of dollars with that look.
That's exactly why he did it.
Yeah. Fucking Dan Quinn. What a clown. I don't have to get your answer in this story because every coach is a clown in your book. But
That
Dan
guy
Quinn
is
especially
a special clown, though. He's one of those clowns that goes and entertains old people at old folks' homes. Not like a clown that you would find at a circus. Those clowns are.
I don't know who Bozo is. What, is he a clown?
Is he a clown? What, are you kidding me?
Or what is he?
Yes, he's a clown.
All right, so what's the big deal? There's millions of clowns.
All right, just forget it.
Forget me? You should forget it. You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
I was gonna see every time he will laugh his ass over the clip and say, "I love that fucking clip."
I love that. Yeah,
some clown from the '60s.
I'm helping somebody move tomorrow, so my wife said we should watch the episode with the Keith Hernandez move.
I'm not helping him move.
Little walk up.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna get to the Giants here real quick. I do want to shout out to the Patreon bros, the community members. We appreciate everybody here. Thank you so much for sticking with us through the offseason. We're still giving you content 7 fucking days a week. I did a 5-hour show 2 nights ago, and then last night was 3 hours. So I did 8 hours live in the beginning of June, guys. That's what we do around here. We have great guests. Mike Storey. Shout out to Mike Storey being one of the goats of the industry, soon to be. He'll be well known. He'll probably get a job offer from Fantasy Pros, and he'll leave me, and I'll be stuck here. I still got Big Ray. I got Nico. I have, all the guys we love. So appreciate him and appreciate all of you. If you're interested in joining the community and joining all these fine folks, you see in the chat every night, get in the Discord, get in the Patreon to get in the Discord, join our chat, offer a lot more than just the Discord, which is a big perk. You get access to my bets, my early plays, guest appearances on the show. We love having fans on the show talking ball. We can talk about glory holes, whatever you want. Free merchandise giveaways too. I give away hats and shirts every single month. Right here, there's a hat every single month. And community fantasy leagues. We already did our dynasty startup. We have about 7 or 8 redrafts we're going to do. If you want to play fantasy against me, against Storey, against all the community members, all the payments will go through League Safe. Sign up now for the leagues, and then we'll do the buy-ins later. And we vote on everything, every single setting. We'd love to have you in there to fill out some of these leagues and just join the community. Like I mentioned, the betting plays, guys. This is all documented right here. 96 and 58. I send every bet slip out. These are all player props. I don't bet on lines. That's for clowns. Player props is where you get edges, 96 and 58 last year, 4 years of dominating. So if you want to make some money, you'll actually make more than you're contributing, and we all win. We all win, guys. ProfessionalFanatics.com, or just link in the description, or just search Patreon Professional Fanatics. Hop in there. Once you get in there, I will send you an email personally, get you the invite, get you in the Discord, get you in the community, and also check out Downtown Sports, our partner program here, where sports come home. They're on 23 platforms. They're on YouTube. Give them a little like, a sub, follow them, and they help us out. We help them out. We appreciate them. Storey, what'd you grab? You got some beer there? What are you doing?
Antiperspirant.
Deodorants. You're eating deodorants.
It's been a long day. I'm not eating deodorants.
Oh. Do you remember when the kids were eating those Tide Pods and they're dying?
So
that was like a TikTok thing?
What's interesting about that is that was more of a media exaggeration than it was an actual phenomenon. The actual numbers of people that were engaged in that social media trend far lower than the media would have you believe. But that's the world that we live in today, where sensationalism and clicks do a lot more business. So it's easier to say kids are eating Tide Pods than it is to say, oh, a couple of kids ate, something they shouldn't have.
Sounds like COVID. All those deaths.
Get right on here.
This 98-year-old woman died from COVID, but she had cancer and she was 400 pounds. But she did have COVID too. All right, Giants.
So I will say that obviously that was not a great time in this country's history. In the world's history. I will say though, while I don't have evidence to support it, it does feel like there was certain incentives for hospitals to say somebody died of COVID.
It doesn't seem like it. There was like a lot of incentives. So they were almost like infecting people to get the money.
Okay. Now you sound like Ray.
Okay. No, I mean that's closer than not having any incentives, because we know they had incentives. Throw Ray under the bus some more, Storey. Jesus. All right. New York Football Giants, 4-13 last year, 381 points scored, 439 against. Not actually that bad of a ratio for a 4-13 team.
Right.
And Jackson Dart made him competitive. Jackson Dart was solid. I got to give my take on Jackson Dart. And I want to actually hear your take on Jackson Dart because Jackson Dart is going quarterback 12. He was going quarterback 8, 9. Now he's gone down to quarterback 12. They're all going, 8 through 10 through 12 are all going in the same range, like 10 picks of each other. But ADP of 95. So I'm going to read you two Jackson Dart stats, and I want to get your take on his fantasy, projections this year. So Jackson Dart finishes a top 12 fantasy quarterback in 9 of the 12 games, and he fell outside the top 14 only once. He averaged 7 carries, 41 rushing yards, and 0.8 touchdowns across his 12 starts. And that's a full season pace of 119 carries, 690 yards, and 13 touchdowns on the ground. That's what we want. Aggressive downfield passer, a run-first quarterback. The problem is he's throwing to literally geriatric 50-year-olds at this point. If Malik Neighbors is not healthy this year, right? So I like Jackson Dart at this ADP, quarterback 12, because this seems free.
It does seem free. Quarterback 12, I can't believe he's dropped 4 spots since the start. Is this all due to the news that's coming out about Malik Neighbors? Like, what else has changed? If anything, the offense got better in terms of the offensive line, right? He's got a better offensive line. He gained more weapons. They got Isaiah Likely. I like that a lot for Dart. That'll allow, he took 36 hits. No, more than that. Wasn't it? No, 36. Yeah, 36 hits while he was passing, but he took a ton of punishment when he decided to pull the ball down and run. If you can kind of train him to get the ball out quicker, and Isaiah Likely should help you do that, then hopefully he stays healthy in the long run. Don't forget, he missed 2 games. Should have been more probably with a concussion, just the way the guy plays. If he doesn't clean that up, he's going to be spending a lot of time in the blue tent. Him and Woody Marks can become roommates.
It's not about running less. It's about running smarter and getting down. Don't get the extra 2 yards. Remember the play? I forget what team he was against. It was towards the end of the season where he didn't go out of bounds. He tried to sneak those extra, the whole Mahomes thing where he sneaks the extra 3 yards in, right, and he just got fucking walloped. It's like, bro, you run out of bounds. Dude, slide. In the red zone when it's a touchdown or a 3rd and 7, I get fighting for the extra yard, the Josh Allen thing. But sometimes just slide. If it's 1st and 10 and you have a 14-yard carry, don't try to get 17 yards. Literally preserve your body because when you're not on the field, the Giants have nothing. I mean, I guess Jameis is pretty fun, but they're not winning with Jameis Williams.
I remember that hit. Can you imagine if Mahomes had gotten that same hit? Like, there would have been a criminal investigation open.
There was not even a flag thrown. Remember, there was no flag thrown because it was a legal hit. But it's one of those unwritten rules. You don't do it.
Right.
But he got destroyed.
Also, there's been a proliferation of quarterbacks faking going out of bounds and then gaining an extra yard or 2, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to have rules in place to protect the quarterback, then this sneaky shit has got to be – you got to cut that out.
It was against the Patriots. Thank you, Jake. It was late in the year. Like, that was the same game that Younghoe Koo missed the ball and kicked the ground. That was great.
That dude, as good as he was in Atlanta, the fall off has got to be studied for Younghoe Koo.
I thought it was a fake. When I saw it happen in real time, I thought it was a fake because I've never seen a kicker actually. That's like a pro golfer like whiffing on a drive. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, if I whiffed on a drive, I'd retire. And I'm not a professional golfer. That was hilarious, though. And that was just a microcosm of the Giants season because, like I said, they only got outscored by 58 points, but they were 4-13. Mal says most of those Tide Pod kids probably lived in Florida. I'm sorry, you're very on this everything weird happens in Florida. Like, half the weird shit in this country is in Florida.
It's Florida and Arizona, man. Those 2 states are weird. You ever been to Tucson? That town is a dusty hole. And it's literally –
there's a lot of meth. A lot of meth down there.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Real quick, Johnson says, shit, I was a medic during COVID. There was a lot of BS going around. Then when the hospitals had people in car crashes, I dropped off. They said died from COVID.
Telling you. Yeah.
Well, technically, guess what? If you die in a car crash story and you had COVID, maybe COVID caused you to drive into the median.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I said from day one, like you're providing incentives for people to say people are dying from COVID, even if they had underlying prior medical conditions.
Yeah. Anyways, so Jackson Dart, we're in on Jackson Dart, even without the receivers, just because the rushing value, right?
Right. Well, I don't understand how he's being drafted after Dak Prescott. Like rushing is literally a cheat code in fantasy football, and we saw Jackson Dart's upside last year was outstanding, and Dak doesn't really run anymore. Sure, he could throw a ton of touchdowns, 35, but what's the grand scheme of things if you're not getting all those an extra, if he's running for 40, 50, 60 yards a game, that's an extra touchdown and a half.
Well, the nice thing, we're going to get to the running backs here about all the receivers being banged up is Cam Scatterbo. Now, we're going to talk about his health here in a second, but Cam Scatterbo ranks 7th among 40 qualifying running backs in both yards per route and Pro Football Focus receiving grade as a rookie.
Getting me excited, man. Getting me excited.
Cam Scatterbo, running back 19, ADP 45. Tyrone Tracy, running back 43, ADP 130. Are you in? So you were a little lukewarm on Javonte Williams. Now, it is 2 running backs difference, but it's 10 picks difference in ADP. Yeah. So you want the value on Cam Scatterbo with the injuries and Tyrone Tracy being there, which is way better than what they have in Dallas.
You know what I saw last week or earlier this week or whenever it was? I saw Cam Scatterbo do a backflip after a dislocated ankle and tendon damage. Now, Malik Neighbors in that same game looked like he was, like I said.
So hold on, I got it. Cam Scatterbo does a backflip. Malik Neighbors does a somersault. He just like fucking tumbles over.
If Malik Neighbors did a somersault at that game, his knee would have exploded. Put in the chat if you've seen that clip. I'm telling you, it's horrifying to watch. Anyway, I'm in. Give me the value. Give me the 2-pick difference. Give me the 10 ADP difference. Scatterbo, outstanding. What mentioned yards per route run, right? His efficiency as a pass catcher is undeniable. You got to be a little concerned about his play style. You could be drafting expiring assets. We don't know that he's going to be. He needs to clean some things up too. Like he can't put his head down and just bowl over guys nonstop in the NFL. But assuming that they kind of get through to him a little bit, and he's not eating chalk on a daily basis, give me Cam Scatterbo.
I don't know. Are you worried at all about the injury? Because this was the Isaiah Pacheco injury, but actually worse. I guess the difference was Pacheco came back that same season and probably rushed himself back.
Yeah.
Is that why? Because I had the same injury. My car accident. I had the same tib and fib injury. I had the same. He has literally a metal rod from his knee to his ankle. That doesn't bother me as much as my knee. My knee was shattered. That's the problem. So I think that's not as major as we think. I think Pacheco just rushed back, but we still have to have a little pause on going all in. And here's the other thing, Storey. The coach, John Harbaugh, is the same coach that put Derrick Henry on the bench for entire quarters when the game was a 1-score game. Sometimes they had the lead. Cam Scatterbo, I love him to death. He's not Derrick Henry.
Okay? No, I get it.
And Tyrone Tracy's a fine running back. So what do you think the split's going to be? I think it's 60-40. I think it's 60-40.
Oh, man, that would be a step back for Scatterbo, right? What was the split with him and Tracy last year?
A lot. It was 75-25. Right. And also Cam's emergence coincided with that shoulder injury that Tracy had. And so Tracy they were both never fully healthy together. But this is different. This is we're not looking at last year because now Harbaugh's here. Harbaugh wasn't here last year, and he doesn't like playing. He didn't like giving Derrick Henry the ball. Give Derrick Henry 40 carries a game, bro. He didn't want to give him 30 carries a game.
Did he learn his lesson after he got lambasted by the media multiple games in a row? Because he did give Derrick Henry, 28 carries and 24 carries to close out the year? Something like that. So maybe he learned his lesson. I'm going to take the shot on the guy that is younger, more explosive, better pass. I know Tyrone Tracy is a converted wide receiver, but Scatterbo's a better pass catcher, all things being equal. And him and Dart are good buddies. So you're not gonna piss Dart off if you put Tyrone Tracy out there on a regular basis. If you give him 40% of the snaps, I think it's 70% Scatterbo, and then Tracy and Singletary are splitting the remaining 30%.
Singletary should not see the fucking field, first of all. Do you like Tyrone Tracy though at running back 43 with the running back coming off an injury? This is kind of why I like Dylan Sampson. Same with the Judkins situation. Even if they're ready to go, I think they're at more risk of injury than they would be if they were totally healthy coming into the year, if the injuries didn't happen. And running back 43, ADP 130 for Tyrone Tracy. He's going to have a role. He seems like one of those playable handcuffs. And I guess the biggest worry is if Cam got hurt, would they just revert back to Devin Singletary getting more than a single carry?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit of a headache last year after Scatterbo got hurt. It was Singletary to start, and then it was a little bit of Tyrone Tracy, and then Singletary again, then Tracy. By the end of the year, it was Tracy. So it feels like it's going to be a little bit of a headache. New coaching staff, kind of tough to predict how this would all play out. I guess Singletary would probably be the next man up, right? Not Singletary. Tyrone Tracy would probably be the next man up. But would you even need to draft him in a redraft league? Or like,
Oh yeah, pick 130. That's only the 11th, 12th round. So
okay. So I guess you would need to draft him there. Yeah, he's one of those guys that he's got upside now. I'm not sure that I'm in on your Samson pick. If you go watch some video from OTAs, like Judkins looks good, man. Like he looks fully back, and his injury was not quite as debilitating as Scatterbo, but it was pretty bad.
yeah, but it's pass catching. And you know what, Story? We want to fucking talk to Samson.
I want to talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon like that bitch Alice Cram.
Also, the offensive line in New York got better. Don't forget.
It did. And the team's better. Everything's better. Let's get to the wide receivers. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver 12, ADP 29 right now in underdog. So that's middle of the third round. And then it's just a bunch of guys. Malachi Fields, wide receiver 82. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver 76, your boyfriend. And Odell Beckham, who is just awful and old and hasn't been good in 5 years. I don't have an ADP for him, but he'll be drafted because name value. People are going to see Odell Beckham and see Neighbors hurt, and they're going to be like, I want OBJ, bro.
That was like when people were picking up Josh Gordon all the time, seeing the name and attaching. Like OBJ is beyond dusty. Who was it before OBJ, after Neighbors? Mooney? Who's before Mooney?
Where?
In ADP. Like Slayton? Is Slayton in that mix at all?
No, I didn't have Slayton. It's Malachi Fields.
Okay.
They love Malachi Fields.
Malachi Fields is being drafted over Darnell Mooney?
No, Mooney's getting drafted a little ahead of him, but I'm taking Malachi Fields over Mooney all day.
I'm taking Mooney all day long over and twice on Sunday.
They traded up for Malachi Fields. They love him.
So what? They traded for Darnell Mooney.
Jonathan, thank you, Story. I just said that in the chat.
What did I say?
He said, also excited to see what Judkins can do with a full camp last year. He came through college in the field with legal trouble. So he's on lockstep with you on Judkins.
Yeah, man. Judkins is going to have a big year. Get on board.
Well, the nice thing about Samson, though, is Samson goes literally 3 rounds later than Tracy. So like I like him at like running back fucking 60.
Yeah. Okay. That I can get on board with. That value seems pretty in line with what we're thinking.
Blake says Mooney is gone.
You hear about Jared Verse and Dylan Gabriel?
What's that?
Jared Verse showed up with Dylan Gabriel's jersey number on the first day of practice. And Gabriel was like, "Yeah, I'll sell it to him if he wants my number." And Jared Verse was like, "Nah, I'm just taking his number." So,
just getting bullied, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I gotta grab a beer. Here you go.
You stupid fuck. Go buy some sandals. Hey, buy some sandals. You want to fight? I'll fight you. I haven't fought in 10 years. I'll fight you. What you got? Let's see. Throw down, bitch. Throw down, bitch.
Is that Seth Rogen? Not Seth Rogen. Jonah Hill?
Yeah. Quick question for you. And I think I know the answer. This actually makes a lot of sense. If you could choose one NFL player to fight, would it be Dylan Gabriel?
I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, probably.
I'm just saying, like the fact that he allowed a newcomer
out there, but that dude seems like a wet noodle.
He's also tiny. Like you can just go with all the small, or you can't. This is excluding kickers.
Why wouldn't I exclude Younghoe Koo? Like, dude can't even kick straight.
No, you can't. You can't choose kickers because the answer is Martin. The answer is Martin Gramatica. Okay,
he's not in the league. It's got to be a current.
If I had a time machine, I'd go fight Martin Gramatica right now, and I'd whip his fucking ass because he's a soccer player. He's not actually a football player.
First of all, it's Martin Gramatica. Second of
all, well, you know what? I'm an American. I say Martin. Oh, Martine. All right. Isaiah Likely, tight end 14, ADP 132. This is juicy, right?
Yeah, I think so. This is a guy that Harbaugh knows for 4 years in Baltimore. I'm not a huge fan of Harbaugh as a coach, but he seems to like his guys. And like you look at his draft picks this year, he went best player available, even though edge rusher and tackle weren't really a need. So he likes certain guys, and he likes Isaiah Likely. Tight end 14. It's an easy cut and stream if it doesn't work out. But like I mentioned earlier, I think this is a guy that can get open underneath and create some routes and might have some games worthwhile. Is he going to blow the doors off, be the next Travis Kelce? No, there's just not enough there for him. But I do like the value.
You know what I love most about it in this range where like Sadiq isn't going here yet, but by the time the season rolls around, when draft season comes around, people will be drafting Sadiq in this range. And you probably don't want to go in rolling with an unknown in Sadiq, right? Where like Isaiah Likely is one of these guys where the first 4 weeks will probably be his pinnacle, just based on Neighbors not being there. And he will still be valuable later, but like he's going to be the focal point of this passing game, it appears, without if Neighbors is gone. And that's the kind of guy I want. If I'm going to stream tight end, essentially, if you're waiting to after tight end 12 to stream, this is the guy I want to draft because at least I know I'm going to have top 12 production early, and then I can figure out late, right? I can get TJ Hawkinson off the wire. If you're not in a league with me, you can get TJ Hawkinson off the wire when he goes, 6, 7, 8 catches the first 3 games, 6, then 7, then 8, not 6, 7, 8 total. 6, 7, and 8. TJ Hawkinson
total over the first 3 games sounds about right.
You know what I'm saying, though. So I get it. He's that perfect bridge tight end. And there's a chance maybe it just works out and he's the number 2 even when Neighbors comes back. So this is value, and you get to take him after the top 12. Like, give me Likely over Ferguson all day because Ferguson's going to be the same. Just a boring – he's going to probably be top 12, but, like, the points per game is going to be barely top 12. We're talking about 1 point difference per game, and you're going to draft him, a round or 2 earlier.
And then what's the difference between tight end 5 and tight end 12? Realistically, in points per game, it's pretty minimal. 2 points. So give me the guy that I don't even think it's 2 points. So give me the guy that has upside. The concern is, and this is why I say it's an easy stream if it doesn't work out. It could easily not work out. Likely, we saw the athleticism. We saw the ability to catch touchdowns. He just never put it all together to outshine Mark Andrews, despite the fact that guy got pretty dusty pretty quickly. And there's target competition. There was target competition in Baltimore. There is still target competition. Neighbors is going to be healthy at some point, right? They do like Slayton there, at least the previous administration did. And Theo Johnson's still there. I don't think Daniel Bellinger's not there anymore, is he? They got rid of him.
Daniel Bellinger's on the he went with Dayball to the Titans.
Yeah, thank you. So, but Theo Johnson's still there. I do think that Likely should be the tight end 1 there, and Theo Johnson's a pretty good blocker, so that might be more his role. But Theo Johnson had an okay couple of games last year as well. So that's my concern, is that there's not enough targets to go around, and Likely isn't a good enough talent to command the targets that are there.
All right, let's get to some comments before we move on to the last 2 teams in the division. We're going to get to the Eagles next. I was already planning on doing that, Blake. He says, got to do the whole Commander segment with our hats backwards, or my hat backwards. Storey can't wear a hat because he looks weird in it, for one, and for 2, his hair is just too goddamn nice.
It is too goddamn. Do I even have a head in here? I might not even have a head in here.
Don't do it. Don't put them through this story.
Yeah, no, I don't have a head.
Blake says, all blue tent team. We have Jackson Dart, Woody Marks, and Jalen Waddle. Let's add T. Higgins into that discussion as well.
No. So I get what Blake's going at here. So these guys are guys that during the game they'll go in the tent and come back out. Right when T. Higgins goes in the tent, that's it. He's gone. He's done.
Oh, right. Yeah.
This is in and out, in and out, in and out. I like this. We got to figure out who the tight end one is.
Oh man, let us know in the chat who's the tight end version of this list that's in the tent all the time and comes back out. Puka Nacua is actually one of those guys too. He always comes back in though.
He did. I mean, there was times where it looked like Puka,
died,
broke a rib, and he came back in.
Yeah. Mouth mentioned, he says, did you guys see the Neighbors try to run the celebrity softball game? I got to watch this after the stream. Text me and remind me, Storey, so I don't forget. Let's see. Dart has actual professional targets to throw to. Does he though? I mean, they're professional. They're professional, but
that's awesome.
Half of Florida is just Southern Alabama. That is true. That's the panhandle, right?
Panhandle, man. That there's a lot going on up there.
Blake thinks the Neighbors thing is blown out of proportion. We hope so.
I certainly hope so. I understand not going full out in a celebrity softball game, although that one comedian, Matt Rife, did try to take out Ramondre Stevenson. That's a joke. He obviously didn't try to take him out. But maybe don't try to stretch a single into a double in a celebrity softball game. But
unless Bette Midler's playing, and then you fucking destroy Bette Midler. No Bette Midler?
Hot dog fell on the ground.
Jackson Dart, 10 rushing touchdowns, 600 rushing yards, 3,500 passing yards, 25 touchdowns. I think that's his healthy 17-game floor. It's not his floor because if you look at Vegas's line, At least the passing stuff, he's at like 19.5 passing touchdowns and 3,000 passing yards. So, hey, I guess the problem is betting on a Jackson Dart season-long prop is risky because the concussion, like most likely he's going to have one concussion and miss 2 games. That's probably really baked into Jackson Dart's line. But if that's what you think, Dean, you should hit the Jackson Dart lines right now because they are really low. I'm saying 3,000 yards passing low.
I thought you were going to say that's his that's what his upside is.
That would be his upside because that'd be 35 total touchdowns, 4,100 total yards. That'd be a top 5 quarterback.
I mean, 10 rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. That's a lot. 600 rushing yards, right?
Unless you're Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen, nobody gets that.
Well, I mean, even Jalen Hurts had fewer rushing yards last year, of course.
Yeah, he had 8 rushing touchdowns, so that was like the absolute
direct result
worst.
of he who shall not be named.
Dean said, I think the Giants told neighbors he could play as long as he didn't run. That would be crazy to allow him to run. It'd be crazy to allow him to play. Like, why are they letting him play in this game? Like, what the hell? You're probably not ready for the season, but go play in a celebrity softball game.
Why would you ever play in a competitive celebrity softball? Like, all right, I'll be the catcher, right? Or I'll be outfield, but I'm not going to play on the infield and run the risk of getting run into if I'm in my career. Afterwards, once I've retired, sure, do whatever. But this is just like you got to also watch the Stevenson clip because that could have been disastrous.
That would be like letting neighbors play in the softball games, like letting the sponsor of an alcoholic, letting the alcoholic go to a bar for like a party. Like you probably shouldn't go to a bar if you're in early stages of recovery of alcoholism. And neighbors, you probably shouldn't be playing in a celebrity softball game because those get kind of intense, man.
Right.
You always have that crazy celebrity.
Let him be the third base coach. You know, let him set the lineup.
Judkins looks elite at OTAs after his ankle. No ligament damage, though. They have him running routes like crazy. Ooh. Judkins season, baby.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Miles says Samson will get a lot of work thanks to the Myles Garrett trade. He's more projecting the fact that they're going to be trailing in more games, which now if they're going to allow Judkins to be a true 3-down back, which I think he's an underrated pass catcher, but he's still not a very good pass catcher. Or at least he hasn't been.
He didn't catch a ton of passes at Ohio State. That was more Travion Henderson's role. Travion Henderson was a great pass blocker there too. So, but I don't know. I can't see how they would be trailing in any more games than they were already. Like one man does not a team make.
Well, dude, he counts as 3 guys. Myles Garrett counts as 3 guys. Dude.
Have you seen the offense that is being run on 7-7s in OTAs? Like Monken called it embarrassing. Like he was talking about how embarrassing the offense is playing in OTAs. That's not a good look for the team.
Hold on. I think I actually found Todd. I found the clip of Todd Monken.
He can't masturbate. He can't make it come out.
He can't go left?
No, he can't go to his left. Can you go to your left?
Nobody can.
No one can.
Hard, you know. It's funny though. There's other things I can do lefty. I can eat lefty. I can brush my teeth lefty.
There's a big difference. You need rotation. You need tempo. You need feel.
Season. I think you learn a lot. In fact, you learn a heck of a lot more when things aren't going well than when it is going well. And I learned a lot.
Well, it's not going well, so you should be learning a lot, Todd.
0 subs in this video, guys. This content is not, you don't just find this anywhere. The jokes, the content, that's what's up. You're not getting these comparisons on fantasy pros or the fantasy footballers. You're getting dribble. You're getting nothing. You're getting nothing. So hit that sub button and like, join the community, do all these things.
I can go for a sub right now.
Oh, a sub sandwich? Yeah. Okay. For sure. All right. We got to get I think I have a couple of comments to get to, and then we got to get to the Eagles. Gabriel should wear number 0 for the amount of playing time he will receive the rest of his NFL career. That is accurate. Kickers are people too, from Jake. They're people. Yeah. You love Theo Johnson story. You love Theo Johnson.
I did love Theo Johnson. You and I had a conversation about him versus Juwan Johnson last year. I just think they likely was handpicked by Harbaugh to come on over.
How about this one? So, do you like him, the GM of the Giants? I don't know, man.
No. Like, I don't even know that he was involved in the decision to hire Harbaugh. I think that was all John Mara. And if it was showing, like, he gave Harbaugh like final decisions over all personnel, and that's just a wild thing for a coach to have in his contract. And I can't believe it's 5 years. Is it really 5 years? The last I heard it was just a multi-year extension.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of the moves he's made. Maybe they should bring back Russell Wilson, who just retired, by the way. Hell yeah, finally Russell Wilson's gone. Hall of Fame, potential Hall of Fame quarterback.
Not a first ballot anymore.
What's your for the Giants? What is your upside for wins for them? What is your absolute ceiling?
Like upside? It's 8 games. Like, tough division, tough schedule. They still got to play the West, and all 3 teams in their division got better. And while they did get a little better, I think 8 games is their ceiling.
Mouth wants 3,500. What do you got?
If Dart takes the next step, if he actually becomes a prolific passer in addition to high-end rusher, I could see double digits this year. This could be the team that surprises and goes from worst to not best, but better.
Mouth wants 3,500 yards passing for Dart with 340 rushing yards and 5 rushing TDs. So he wants him to kind of scale back the rushing and develop as a passer. I don't know if you could take the rushing part out of him. If
I'm only getting 30 or 340 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns, like 5 rushing yards, fine. But if I'm only getting 340 rushing yards out of Dart, I'm disappointed as a fantasy manager, right? I want 600, 700 yards, something in that range, in order for him to return value.
Mark Andrews or George Kittle. That could be the 10th, the blue tent team. So probably George Kittle, right?
Did Andrews go in and out? I don't really remember that from his career.
Has a little bit. Not as much. I think George Kittle has done more.
But Kittle's also were like pretty devastating. Like, this is a big injury. Although the latest is that he could be back week 1.
All right, let's move on to the Eagles. 11-6 for the Eagles last year. 379 points forward, 325 points against. A lot of close games. And they just fell apart at the end of the year, including the playoffs. It was rough. How they lost to that decimated Niners team. I'll tell you how they lost is because Kyle Shanahan's a way better coach than anything they have there in Philly.
Yes, there's no argument there. And Kyle Shanahan's a good regular season coach, terrible postseason coach.
But he won. That was a postseason game, though.
Well, there you go. It makes it easy. But again,
he coached that game like it was a regular season story.
I can't believe Nick Sirianni's still there. I mean, at least Petula's gone, but I cannot believe Nick Sirianni's still there.
Well, when you win a Super Bowl, you get a couple years grace.
Yeah,
He's wearing that out, though, for sure.
Yeah, especially with the way that he behaves. Like, he was fine in his first couple of years with Philly. Now he's acting like an obnoxious asshole.
The problem for him, for his longevity, is the Eagles are known mostly for players. Like, remember the Carson Wentz thing? Like, they will just cut bait with you. Like, they're a good franchise, and good franchise, you know what they do? They move on. They don't give you extra years because you did X, Y, and Z. They don't give you extra years or play you because you make a lot of money. They actually make the proper moves, and the Eagles have that. So this is probably, if the Eagles miss the playoffs this year, I think Sirianni's gone. He should.
It would not surprise me, 100%.
All right, Jalen Hurts, quarterback 7, ADP 71. So I have a little graphic and stat for you. Jalen Hurts averaged a career low 5.6 rushing fantasy points per game last season. Where do you see this, like, where it's trending? And I want to know how sustainable this is. Was it a one-off? Because it's bad. This is like the Great Depression stock market thing. Like, look at this thing, dude. Like 9.2, 10.3, 8.9, 9.8, and then 5.6. That one does not match. So is this a trend or is this a outlier?
Seems to me like it's a pretty clear outlier. Now, small sample size. We're dealing with 5 years. But, 9, 10, 9, 10, and then 6. I think it's an outlier, personally.
It was a reflection of him running less, for sure, and that's documented. The numbers point that out. And also the tush push being way less effective. So you mix both those together, and in a vacuum, 5.6 fantasy points a game rushing is actually pretty decent for any other quarterback. But Jalen Hurts, that is not his entire game, but like he's capped at about 23 passing touchdowns, and maybe that changes this year. I don't think it will. So we need him to have double digits, 10 to 12, and we need him to run more, right? Remember when it was 5 to 6 to 700 yards rushing a year? Now we're looking back at you're ripping on Jackson Dart for someone saying 350. That's not enough. Like 350 and 400 is not enough for Jalen Hurts to return value here. But quarterback 7 seems pretty juicy when last year was his bad year. We just put the graphic up. I'll put it up again. with this production dip and everything that happened with the Eagles offense and a pretty elite defense last year, which it should be a little worse this year, he was still quarterback 7 last year. So you're drafting him essentially at his floor.
Sure seems like it. I don't think it was a trend. I think it was, as you mentioned, an outlier. One season does not a career make. He's been extremely efficient on the ground in Philadelphia. The passing game has never been truly prolific, but with the changes to the offense, with A.J. Brown officially out of town, I think they are going to have fewer deep shots, right? A.J. Brown accounted for 33% of the team's air yards last year. Lemon's going to take some time to get acclimated to the speed of the NFL. And Dontavian Wicks is much more of an intermediate guy. So, yeah, you've got on the outside Devonta Smith, but you don't have that big body outside guy that's going to bully people either and create yards after the catch realistically. So he's going to have to probably pull the ball down and run, scramble a little more, and again, take fewer deep shots. So that is good news for Jalen Hurts all around.
Is this kind of like, it's a weird comparison, like the Jake Ferguson comp for quarterback? Like, it's kind of his floor and his ceiling, because if he doesn't get back to running the ball, he's not going to have enough passing volume. At least we were projecting. And last year, I think here's the upside case for Hurts. I think we all know he looked disinterested last year. The whole team was going through the motions, right? Waiting for the playoffs. And they're like, well, we're just going to turn it on in the playoffs. That doesn't work in the NFL typically, and it did not work for them. So is there a chance that Jalen Hurts was just kind of like the whole situation? There was a lot of toxic stuff going on there last year with Pachulo, with the fans who don't make, I know J-Bob was saying the fans we have the right to boo. It's doing no one any favors when you're booing people, the defending world champs in the first quarter of a game against the Jags. Like, dude, why are you booing? Like, they're not gonna fire Pachulo because you boo. They're gonna this is a good organization. And I think that just the team went off the rails. It was very toxic, like I said. And Jalen Hurts, as much as I love his cool, calm demeanor, I want some fire out of this kid. Is this the year we see it? Because there's a lot of haters, Storey, including us in this program, mostly me, who think Jalen Hurts is awful at real life quarterback. He's a hell of a fantasy asset. I draft him every year. I love Jalen Hurts as a fantasy asset. I think he's a bad NFL quarterback, or at least overrated. I said the word, he's overrated as an NFL quarterback. He's not top 5. Get the hell out of here. I want Dak Prescott over him every day of the week.
As an NFL quarterback?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
As an NFL quarterback?
As a quarterback, because Jalen Hurts is not really a quarterback. He's a tush pusher.
NFL quarterback. You would rather have Dak Prescott.
Dude, yes, he can actually throw the ball to his receivers and read defenses. Jalen Hurts can't do any of this stuff.
First of all, Jalen Hurts can read a defense.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
He can read a defense as well as A.J. Brown can read a book on the sideline.
I know it's hard for me to say like the team was disinterested last year, but I would agree that there's a lot of toxic stuff going on, especially with Sirianni defending Pachulo, etc. We can all agree that it was a horrendous offense last year. Things should be different. Probably you get a little defeated, right? That kind of learned helplessness when all you're doing is running rub routes like day in and day out and running Saquon Barkley up the middle. So that's tough. Give me Jalen Hurts 10 times out of 10 over Dak Prescott. I understand that quarterback wins isn't a stat that you can realistically hang your hat on, but when it comes to this organization, like the way that they have allowed him to flourish, I think Jalen Hurts is a much better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Jalen Hurts had under 200 passing yards 9 times last year. 9 times. Ferris Bueller, 9 times.
2 Super Bowls.
No, the Eagles have 2. The Eagles have 1 Super Bowl, and he went to another one.
Well, 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl victory, in which he
has those.
In which
he has those, or the team has those.
In which he does. He's got the rings. In which he was.
So you're trying to tell me if Dak Prescott was on this team the whole time?
Best player on the field when they won the Super Bowl. Not Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts.
If you swap these guys' careers, or let's just swap the last, this is his 6th year. If you swap the 6 years, Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts, the Eagles have how many Super Bowls?
If you swap Dak on the Eagles?
You put Dak on the Eagles, you put Jalen Hurts on the Cowboys. How many Super Bowls did each team have?
They probably would have taken away one of the Super Bowls from the 90s. That's how bad Dak Prescott is.
You're insane. Come on, man. See, dude, your hate is, I don't know. Dean says, I think Jalen Hurts feels like the modern day Cam Newton. The offense has to be dumbed down. Cam Newton, dude, won an MVP. Cam Newton was not as consistent as Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is consistent. Like, I don't hate Jalen Hurts. He's just overrated. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Get out of here with that shit. Not even close. Not even close.
Okay, I disagree. I think he is a top 10 quarterback.
He wins games, but so do the Eagles. The Eagles won games. You know the Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, right? How's Nick Foles doing? How did Nick Foles do after he left the Eagles?
Yeah, it's not great. Not great, Bob.
Remember when Carson Wentz was an MVP frontrunner? How's Carson Wentz done since he left the Eagles?
Again, not
just
great.
Giving you some recent examples of guys that leave the Eagles. You know, good organizations when like what happened with Patriots players
you're
when they leave.
Like I can go with.
I'm not cherry picking. I'm going the previous quarterbacks they've had.
Anybody can get hot and go on a run, right? Like Joe Flacco, for example. You're telling me that Joe Flacco, because he won a Super Bowl, like he's supposed to be the end all be all, or Trent Dilfer or something like that? Just because Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, you happen to go on a run with a good team, doesn't mean that they were good. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. Like
that's your exact argument about Jalen Hurts, is that he won a Super Bowl and he went to 2.
Yeah,
that's exactly what your argument is.
Really productive since he took over as a starter in Philadelphia.
Eli is a gold jacket then. Eli Manning is he a Hall of Famer to you, Eli Manning?
Yes, Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer to me. It's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Stats, right? It is the Hall of Fame. So what's more famous than beating a 17-0 team? Anybody like get out of here with this crap that Eli Manning isn't a Hall of Famer. That's a ridiculous statement.
Well, you know what Eli is? He's in the Hall of Interceptions.
Good. Tell me everything.
Okay. They were both here. They were both inside me. Eduardo was in my mouth and Luther was in my butt.
Oh my God, no, don't tell me everything. What? No, what? Damn it, Bonnie. Eduardo who?
Sanchez.
Holy shit, tell us more.
Then Luther went in Eduardo's butt for a while.
Tell us less. Tell us less.
Then they both completed on each other. I was left out of the finale.
If Hurts is top 5, Jordan Love is the fucking GOAT. Now, I'm going to have to push back a little bit here because I like Jordan Love's potential. Jalen Hurts is better than Jordan Love. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go that far. My point is Jalen Hurts is overrated because the Eagles fans say he's a top 5 quarterback. No, not.
I don't understand how you can, okay, like we're gonna have to disagree. Like I
love it. I love our arguments though because we keep it civil for the most part,
right,
and that's what it's all about.
10, 13, 15, 14, and 8 rushing touchdowns, including 784, 760, 605, 630. Yeah,
I know the tush push is like a skill, but like, dude, how many of those touchdowns are tush pushes?
Dak Prescott as like a great passer. Like in order to be a good quarterback in this league, you guys have to create wins. Like you can't
read off his rushing touchdown number. They're all tush pushes.
Well, if a tush push was that easy, anybody would do it. They got Tyler Warren running.
No, they're all Jason Kelsey, dude. Jason Kelsey. Their offensive line was elite, and he's the best tush pusher of all time. I'm not debating that, but that doesn't make you a good quarterback, dude. Like,
okay, it's one piece of the component, including the rushing, including the yards per attempt, including the efficiency, the yards, the touchdowns, everything. And again, like you cannot just because the Eagles are a good organization, you're actually hurting. Like, who's the most important player on the field?
I have a good comparison for you.
Okay.
You telling me that Jalen Hurts, because he's such a good tush pusher, makes him a good quarterback, is like me telling a girl, hold on.
Okay.
You telling me that he's the best tush pusher, makes him a good quarterback, is like me telling a girl, I'm great at masturbating and I'll fuck you good. I'm terrible at fucking you, but I do great when I jerk off. How is that going to help the girl?
How do you know that you're great? How do you know you're great when you jerk off? Like, what is the metric by which you're judging yourself?
If I want to go quick, I can go quick. If I want to push it, I can push it. I always come.
Rotation.
My cleanup is nice. I don't spray everywhere.
Spray everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a wild fireman's hose. You know, I just gotta hold on and just hold on to it.
I have
for
a
your
particularly
life.
explosive ejaculate. It just goes everywhere. It's like a fucking wild fireman's hose. You just gotta grab on and pray to God it doesn't get in your eyes or your mouth. You think that's the only thing I jerked off in here? I've been dropping loads around this fucking house like a goddamn dump truck.
You don't come on my stuff.
I'll come wherever the fuck I want, James. I'll fucking come in your kitchen. I'll come on your fucking art. I'll come anywhere I want.
I will fucking come right on you. I will come like a fucking madman all over you, McBride.
Ooh, I fucking wish you'd come on me right now. I fucking dare you to come on me.
That's a funny movie.
Oh, Dan McBride's great. I cannot go lefty. Storey, have you tried going lefty? I think we talked about this. You can't.
It's been a while. I don't remember if I can or can't. It's been a long time since I tried.
I'm going to give you guys an update tonight on the Discord, and I'm going to try to go lefty, and maybe I'll give you some visual evidence, and I'll blur out the dick and see if I can actually do it. I know I can do it, but can I do it to completion is the question.
You can just report back. You don't have to videotape yourself.
But then I could be lying. They want to see the actual evidence, right?
Oh, that's fair. Okay, we can get a third party to review the evidence and then report to the Discord.
I love that my wife. She does not want to watch me jerk off. I love that the Jalen Hurts thing, even without, it's a very divisive. Like people get super it's either you love him or hate him kind of thing, and I do love that. So
you know what's interesting about masturbating? Like women masturbate when they do it, it's sexy. It's a turn on, right? Dudes love that. Dudes love watching that. When men do it, it's a gross, disgusting act.
Dude, Rogan has a great stand-up bit about this. He's like, if I were to go in a hotel room and see, I don't think he was talking about his wife, but just in general, like see two girls, like going at it, two lesbians, like, licking each other and shit. I'd be like a deer. I'd be all quiet. I try to watch and shit. Like when you watch a deer as well. And he's like, if my wife walked in on two dudes fucking, she'd be like, what the fuck, dude? It's a double standard. Real quick on this topic, I have one more. We've been on a tangent here, but that's what we do around here, and you guys love these conversations, I think. Have you seen Clerks, the movie Clerks?
No.
So there's a thing. So Dante is the main character, and he finds out they're having a discussion of how many people they've been with, and like his girlfriend was super pissed. He's had sex with like 10 girls, and she's only had sex with like 4 guys. But then she like spits out, no pun intended, that she's sucked 50 dicks. And he's like, what the fuck? So I was talking to on the way to the wake today. This is the conversations I have with my wife. I was like, you know what's weird? Like the percentage of like girls have typically like blown a lot more guys than they've had sex with because it's like a different thing. But guys, we have gone down on way less girls than we've slept with. You know what I mean? Like we don't just go down on a girl and don't sleep with them. Girls will blow a guy and not sleep with them. So it's like a 10-to-1 ratio. At least I'm going on my own personal experience. 10-to-1 ratio. Is that weird how it works like that?
No, it's probably a stigma related to lady parts and how there's, other things, other stuff, substances that come out of there. Like that, I would guess, is an old puritanical standard, and there's some stigma related to that, and that's why it's less common or less. What am I trying to say? Less. There's less expectation for men to do it to women than there is for women to do it to men because of the dirtiness.
Yeah, and girls aren't as comfortable with that. We're just like, yeah, suck my dick.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, I see Eagles preview on here, and I think we haven't talked about the Eagles for a little bit. So let's get back to the Eagles.
That's fair.
We finished the Hurts conversation. We both like him at value, though. I think is the crux of the 20-minute tangent. That was what we got on. We like him.
Yeah, I mean the offense is going to take some time to come together, but I think it will. The pieces are there for this unit to remain dangerous. They got talent. I think they can make some noise in the NFC. They got talent on both sides of the ball.
Saquon Barkley, RB8, ADP 15. Yes. I have a Barkley stat for you. Saquon Barkley sank from 3.8 yards before contact per carry in 2024 to 2.5 last year. So he was getting hit way before offensive line stat right there. His yards after contact per carry declined just slightly from 2.0 to 1.6. So
2.0 to 1.6.
So the yards after contact wasn't as damning. It was the yards before contact, which is an offensive line stat.
Well, it's an offensive line and an offensive scheme stat. Give me all the Saquon Barkley this year. I love the value that I'm getting. I don't think he took he probably did take a little bit of a step back, but I attribute that quite heavily to the other pieces around him. And they would be foolish not to use him in the passing game like they did last year for large stretches of the time.
Jesus Storey with the Greek explanation of oral. That's what I love. He's more scientific with it. I'm more like, it's like he's making a fantasy pick with his brain. I pick with my heart. I do with my feelings. And that's why it makes us a pretty good team. I think it makes us a pretty nice duo.
Wait till you all see what our last pick is. I'm not a huge fan, but
fuck you. Don't give any information away.
I just said
I was saying duo on the podcast, or I was saying duo on the podcast. It makes us 2 peas in a pod.
Oh, right? Okay, gotcha.
You're the straight man. I'm the idiot. That's kind of the role.
I'm just saying this will be a hard pick. Just FYI.
Well, I'll be hard when I make the pick.
Okay.
Saquon Barkley, RB8, ADP 15. We love this. I love this. I'm taking him in the first round personally.
I love it too. I think end of the first round is pretty appropriate. You do have to bake in the notion that he might be aging a little bit, but I think the offense is going to bounce back in a big way. So I like all the pieces here. I love Devonta Smith. I love Saquon Barkley. I love Jalen Hurts. Getting Jalen Hurts at quarterback 7, my God, that's a steal.
And I think the upside with Barkley is the offense is, I don't know how much better it'll be. It'll be more functional. And the running game especially will be more functional. But it's been 33 catches and 37 catches in his 2 years in Philly. Now, I'm not saying Saquon Barkley is Christian McCaffrey or anything, but like I think he has 50 to 60 reception upside, which if you get 20% uptick in passing game involvement, and I'm not talking about just the PPR aspect, the catches are nice. Saquon Barkley is an elite athlete. You get him in space. The stat I just read, that's what happened the year before, right? The yards before contact was so huge. The dude is going to make anyone miss. Corners, safeties, linebackers, you name it. He's going to break tackles with safeties. He's going to make linebackers miss. It's nuclear for Saquon Barkley. This is not quite what we saw in 2024. This is a top 3 upside. Would you agree? Top 2?
Yeah, I think, top 3.
Yeah, Gibbs and Bijan.
Yeah, Gibbs and Bijan. My God. Did you hear what Dan Campbell said today or yesterday?
He's going to bite someone's kneecap off?
Basically, Gibbs is going to be their workhorse, like to the moon, man. I might be readjusting my Bijan versus.
Sorry, I've been telling you this.
Well, it's nice to hear from Dan Campbell. Anyway, yeah, it's top.
I'm a big authority in the locker room there in Detroit.
Yeah, it's top 3 if CMC gets injured. Otherwise, it's certainly top 4, top 5.
Damn, an RB8 is super nice.
It's not top 4 is potentially like the sheer number of touchdowns that Jonathan Taylor could score this year.
And unlike CMC, and I'm not saying, I'm saying this, I guess, CMC is way more likely to get hurt. We've seen it. Saquon's not been indestructible by any stretch, but like Saquon's a safer pick than CMC. The upside's probably not there because the pass catching won't be 90 catches. Right. But it feels like a very safe pick that's not going to lose. You know, you're tied to the Eagles offense, which is also tied to the Eagles defense, which is very good for fantasy. Good infrastructure. You know, Tank Bigsby, though, who was awesome. I didn't have his ADP written down. It's really late. Are we convinced that Tank Bigsby is the handcuff? Because this is an important pick. And what I love about Saquon Barkley, if we can identify this, is if he gets hurt, we have a clear-cut handcuff. Where CMC, we don't. You could take Jordan James. Someone else could take Kayvon Black, and it might be Isaac Guerrero. We have no fucking clue.
Right.
Like, we know. I think I know it's Tank Bigsby because Tank Bigsby was elite last year. Limited time, limited sample, but it was like 6.8 yards per carry. It was like a Devin A chain. And Tank Bigsby's only 23 years old. Like, he's not going to have the pass catching work. He is allergic to catching passes. But Tank Bigsby fits this scheme. They traded for him for a reason. I love being able to get a handcuff, and it's not in that 10th round range. It's like last round. So I love that.
I think it'll be more of a committee with him and Will Shipley, and probably Elijah Mitchell mixing it a little bit. But it does feel like it's a premier handcuff. Like if you're the kind of player who handcuffs your first round picks, your second round picks, then you're going to want to scoop up Tank Bigsby later on. I'm the kind of guy, like, I don't necessarily handcuff my own running backs, but if I draft, Gibbs, then I want the backup in San Francisco. I want Tank Bigsby, right? I want Tyrone Tracy. I want the guys that could give me that. So, yeah, I do think you got to call your shot here. I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby.
All right, wide receivers. Devonta Smith is rising up. I have been drafting him like this since February that AJ Brown was going to be gone. Wide receiver 13, ADP 30. So early third round, essentially the JSN range from last year. Top 4 picks in the third round. Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver 35, ADP 72, and Datavian Wicks is wide receiver 81. Just throwing him in there just as a kind of a flyer. And we're not going to talk about Hollywood Brown too much. I hope not. Is this too rich for Devonta Smith in I don't want to call it a passing anorexic offense, but they're surely bulimic, right?
Bulimic?
Yeah, they were fun,
Oh, interesting way to put that.
Well, I'd rather be bulimic than anorexic because at least you get to eat the food.
Neither one of those is great.
No.
But
neither is the Eagles passing offense, dude.
What was the question? You completely got distracted.
The question was, is wide receiver 13 too high?
Oh, right. I was going to ask you, has his ADP risen at all since the official announcement of the AJ Brown trade?
Yeah, I think it has a couple days prior because it was like almost like a for sure thing, even though we knew it was a for sure thing.
Right.
He was a wide receiver 15, 16. Now he's up to 13, 6 picks of ADP difference.
Okay.
And
so it was baked in a little bit, but it wasn't fully baked in.
Now it's baked in.
Like 15, 16 seems a little more appropriate. It is a little rich, but again, if you feel strongly, as I do, that this offense is going to rebound, then I kind of want pieces of it. Devonta Smith was amazing at Alabama. Let's not forget that, right? It wasn't like he was playing at Western Michigan, although Antonio Brown played at Western Michigan, doesn't matter. So he was amazing in the SEC, like an absolute, like tons of touchdowns. Like it was just an amazing couple of seasons from him. So I think he can be the guy. He's been handicapped by having AJ Brown there for a few years, but let's see what he can do. If everything comes together and this offense is efficient, then he's got wide receiver 1 upside.
I think we need to figure out right now what the range of targets are for him. Let's take injuries out of it. And Devonta Smith's been a pretty healthy player, even despite his small frame, which is very small, supermodel legs. What is his floor for targets this year in a 17-game season? Let's call it 16 games. And what is his upside? Because I'm going to read you his targets real quick that he's had in his career. So rookie year till now, 104, 136 his second year, 112, 89. He got hurt a little bit, and 113. So literally he's averaging 108 targets a game or a year.
Not ideal, but he did deal with AJ Brown there for the last 3 years, right? So that's a hell of a target competition. It's not
So
like
what is the floor? What is the floor and what is the ceiling of his targets this year without AJ Brown? We know that.
140? Like this there's how many targets did AJ Brown get? Like there's a ton of vacated targets. Now, it's not like they didn't replace him, right? They got Wicks, they got Lemon, they got Stowers, but those guys combined probably aren't they're not going to replace AJ Brown. So a lot of that's going to go to Devonta Smith. Floor sounds about right where he was last year, 110 targets. Like absolute floor.
Okay, and his ceiling's 140. So the year he had 136, let me read you his numbers. His second year in the league, I think AJ Brown got a little nicked up that year, or they were just throwing the ball more. 95 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So, and even the years he has had the 112, 113 targets, touchdown numbers 5, 7, 7, 8, 4, right? 1,000 yards every year besides the year he actually got hurt. So, like, that's his floor. So I love Devonta Smith here. I mean, if I'll just take 130 targets. If you could tell me Devonta Smith's getting 130 targets, he's going to have 95 catches. He's going to have 1,200 yards. He's going to have 8 touchdowns. Right?
It could be a 100 catch year for him. Like I feel like he very strongly that he could level up. Like he could be he could have leveled up, but you still like AJ Brown is such a great talent. We just didn't see it yet. Now this is his opportunity. This is the chance for him to actually prove it.
But there's probably a 0% chance he's JSN this year because the passing volume. Would you agree with that? There was really nothing to work with last year in Seattle besides JSN. So he's not going to have 120 catches.
Like passing volume wasn't huge last year, but it was all about target share and efficiency, right? I do agree. It's probably a 0% chance that he's the number 1 overall wide receiver just due to the offense in which he plays and the competition. It is going to take Lemon some time to get up to speed. Also, Lemon's a little dinged up right now, which is a little concerning. It's early, right? We don't want to see guys getting dinged up when there's no pads. That's not ideal. But you got Stowers, you got Goddard there. Beyond that, Wicks is okay, but I mentioned he's an intermediate role player. There's not a lot that I think that Wicks is going to do to take away from Devonta Smith. So,
speaking of Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver 35, ADP 72. So you're looking at the end of the 6th round, which is super rich for me. He went to a bad spot. A good spot for real life, bad spot for fantasy. If he had taken Jordan Tyson's spot and he had gone to the Saints, if he had gone to the Titans, if they didn't sign Wan'Dale Robinson, for instance, I would love it a lot more. This is not great. Storey, what do you think Mekhi Lemon's Vegas line is for receiving yards this year? Mind you, his ADP is 72, and he's the 35th receiver off the board. So he's he's a back-end wide receiver 3.
699 and a half.
650.
Okay. I was even high.
That is low. That is damn low, dude, because Jalen Hurts is at 19.5 passing touchdowns roughly over under. So, like, he's not going to be a high volume touchdown guy. I mean, he's not saying he doesn't have the ability to do so. I'm saying that the role and the offense he's in is not going to be susceptible to 8 touchdowns. There's just no way he's scoring 8 touchdowns, right? If Dallas Goedert dies and Devonta Smith breaks a leg.
Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, I don't see it. Like 10 touchdowns feels a pipe dream, like a pipe dream. Now those saving graces, they did trade up to get him, but again, like this feels like a much better real life. It's a great pick for the Eagles. It's a great fit,
exactly.
But just from a fantasy perspective, I don't. Even though we saw plenty of productive years with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, with Wicks there and with Stowers there and Goddard still there, I don't and Saquon should catch more passes. I don't see the path to a top 36 wide receiver for Mekhi Lemon this year.
Like if Washington does not bring in Brandon Ayuk, I could make an argument I want Antonio Williams over Mekhi Lemon. Like, and he's going wide receiver 64. Not to jump ahead to the Commanders too quick, but I'm just saying, you see what I'm talking about? Like opportunity, man, opportunity. And Lemon does not have it. Doesn't have it, and he has the ability. I love the talent, but he is getting way overdrafted, and maybe it'll come down when this is best ball. I think guys are going for extreme upside in best ball tournaments, and maybe in home leagues it'll go down. But people love rookies, man, and I just avoid them typically. I'll find the diamond in the rough. We want to find our Puka Nakuas that are undrafted. We don't want to draft guys in the fucking 7th, 6th round.
I mean, 6th round is where Boo was going last year, right? And there were 2 wide receivers that were drafted in front of Mekhi Lemon this year in much better situations.
The 6th round is where Chris Olave and George Pickens were getting drafted last year. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like easy money. This is burning your money. This is, you know what you're doing? You're trading your US dollar, which isn't worth that much already, for a peso. Mekhi Lemon's a peso, and he drives a Pinto.
It's hopium, man, and I can't get behind it.
Dallas Goedert, tight end 15. You're all about this one. You're eating this up.
His touchdowns, baby. Like he was a touchdown machine last year. I know that particular scheme loved the tight ends in the red zone, but like Stowers is a great addition, but it's Goddard's room until otherwise noted. So yeah, give me Goddard at tight end. I can't believe he's being drafted at tight end 15 with the number of touchdowns he scored last year.
Well, that's not sustainable, but it doesn't have to be, right? At this point, if he scores 6 touchdowns,
30% of the touchdowns and still be an amazing pick at tight end.
No, he can lose half his touchdowns and be an amazing pick because he had 13. So if he scores 6, he beats his ADP.
You're gonna be thrilled if he scores 7 touchdowns this year.
I want TJ Hockenson over Dallas Goedert. What do you think? I do.
You do not for real. There's no way
yeah, bro. Like there's no upside with Dallas Goedert. 13 touchdowns is not happening. Not happening.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just telling you. I mean, I don't know if I'm a draft like that, but I can say it on the show.
You can say it. It's fine.
I'm kidding. I will draft like that. I'm not going to draft him ahead of Dallas Goedert. I'll let someone else take Dallas Goedert. I'll wait 4 rounds. I'll wait till the last round. And I'll take TJ Hockenson. And I'll have a top 8 tight end. And I'll be, like I said, I'll be on the show shirtless and dancing and just doing cartwheels or somersaults for me. Not backflips like Cam Scatterbo.
Not backflips like Cam Scatterbo.
Oh, I can't do that. All right, let's move on to the Washington Commanders. 5-12 last year, Story. Wild stuff. Oh, hold on. I got to do this. It's the Commanders. Yeah. Dan Quinn, baby. There we go. 356 points scored, 451 points against. Jaden Daniels, quarterback 4, ADP 66. So this is wild that in underdog right now. Jalen Hurts is quarterback 7, ADP 71. Jaden Daniels, quarterback 4, ADP 66. So they're all going in this range. So don't look at the quarterback 4 too much. They're all in a bucket, right? Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts. Are you in? I know you're a big Jaden Daniels guy, especially coming out of college, and you loved him his rookie year. You didn't like him last year because the price was too rich. How are you feeling this year?
I would argue that is too much to pay for Jaden Daniels because they didn't make enough moves on offense. They made a ton of moves, but the offensive play pieces that they brought in, not exactly earth-shattering, right? Rashad White, but the defensive pieces, especially the drafting of Sonny Styles, number 7 pick in the draft there, and they traded for Owa. The cornerbacks got better with Chanel and Cross. Like the defense is going to be markedly. You know what's interesting? All 4 of these teams got better on defense. I think we can agree on that. So I don't know, man. Like 2024 Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels was healthy. Then I could see, but he's going to have to get some help in the. They can't go into the season with what they have in the wide receiver room. And it also wouldn't surprise me if they signed another running back. Like just
well, they have 6 of them. I mean,
well, okay, but an actual like decent running back, like not just
Right.
like a role player.
Are you
I
more
do like-
scared
I
off?
do like McLaurin at cost, and I like Antonio Williams because he's super cheap.
And Chikakonkwo.
We talked about Chikakonkwo, so like a good couple of pieces. But like if you have a number 4 overall quarterback, you got to have like a guy that's going to catch 12 touchdowns, and I'm not sure that guy's on the roster right now.
Are you more scared off with Daniels because the injury risk? And I know it's not his injury shouldn't be like lingering into the season because it's not a Patrick Mahomes situation, right? It's not that. At least we don't think so with the elbow. He should be way past knee injury. But is it the frame and the way he plays that risk, or is it like you mentioned the offensive environment and the price? What is the issue? Is it all the above?
Injury doesn't really bother me, right? Especially because the second injury was a dislocated elbow, which is just how often do you see that in the NFL? It's a wild. It's the offensive system. It's the lack of talent around him. It's the fact that the offense didn't really make a ton of moves, and there's not like McLaurin's another year older. Again, they've got rotational players behind him until Antonio Williams gets up to speed, and the defense, like 2 years prior, they kind of fixed the defense with like quick fix players, and that came to light last year when they had a ton of missing depth and the lack of youth on the roster really shone through. This year, they made a point to get the defense better. So the offense doesn't necessarily need to be better, but 356 points for 451 against, if they change that up and they score the same number of points, but they give up fewer points, I don't know that there's going to be a lot of offensive firepower here.
I guess I hate that he's going, he's the first one off the board here in this bunch. Or him and Joe Burrow are right there. And then you have all the other guys, Jalen Hurts, Caleb Williams, Drake May, for instance. Like, I don't see the difference between all these guys. I want the cheapest guy. So I'll have some Jaden Daniels shares, but he's going to have to fall to me a little bit. He's going to have to fall to quarterback 6 off the board, and then I'll be comfortable. But I do see the elite upside. I mean, what the kid did as a rookie with literally nothing around him, and he still has nothing around him. So nothing's really changed there. The legs and the deep ball passing is what we saw from Drake May last year, right? He has even more on the ground than Drake May. He is Lamar Jackson 2.0.
But Lamar Jackson is a more stout individual. So now you do have to start to consider the injury side of things, right? If we expect the running to keep up the way it does, you have to be concerned about his frame versus these linebackers in the NFL.
So last year was clearly just a lost year for Jaden Daniels. But I will say a league high 11% of Jaden Daniels' passes were dropped last year. So, I mean, it was a small sample size, obviously. So he didn't play the full slate of games. And, McLaurin missing that time. It was just that was just literally the definition of a year from hell for that franchise. And they did it to themselves, though. They didn't bring anyone in. They rested on their laurels, and they're like, we went to the NFC Championship game with Jaden Daniels as a rookie. Let's just keep Zach Ertz on this roster. Let's bring in Deebo Samuel. Let's just have a bunch of old dudes.
Like I said, like it was all quick fixes, old guys. Like the lack of depth and youth on the roster last year led to the bottom falling out when the one piece kind of disappeared in that Jaden Daniels. Even when he was there, like there, Deebo Samuel is a fine addition, but he should have been a third wide receiver and not the second wide receiver, and then thrust in the spotlight when Terry McLaurin wasn't there. I mean, you would think that Deebo Samuel could have absolutely feasted with no Terry McLaurin. It was not a good season for him.
Well, let's move on to this running back room. I got the perfect this is gross. I got the perfect clip for this.
Yeah, Dad. You need some of this.
This is cum.
Which running back is the fastest swimmer of this semen room? Mike Storey. JCM, running back 39. Rashad White, running back 41, going back to back. Katron Allen, running back 60. Jerome Ford, I'm not really going to list his ADP because there is none.
Call your shot. You think
is it Rashad White? People love Rashad White, dude.
Yeah, they do. What was he at? Running back what?
41.
And JCM was what? Running back
39. So back to back.
Okay. Yeah, it smells like a very stinky committee this year. Not something that I really want a whole lot of pieces of. Forget about Ford. Forget about Allen. Even this 2-man committee is going to be a bit of a disaster.
Did I call him something? Did I call him something else? I think I Jerome Ford. I don't know. What is the upside with JCM still though? Just because we're looking for a possible lead back. Like Rachaad White is what he is. Now, if there's an injury to JCM, I could see, we've seen Rachaad White in the past handle a big workload, but is the upside just with JCM because he looked good at the end of the year last year? Everyone loved him. Remember last year, the fantasy community clamoring for JCM, taking him in the 7th round. Wild stuff. But he is the lead back, but it seems like he's going to get the empty calories. We don't like that.
You heard it here first. There's going to be somebody out of nowhere that pops off in some training camp this year, and people are going to blow up. He's going to get drafted. It's going to happen. It happens every year. It happened last year. It felt like JCM got more comfortable in the role as things went along. He had a nice end of the season. The addition of Jerome Ford is whatever. The addition of Rachaad White does hurt his passing, but there wasn't much passing equity there to begin with. I do believe that the upside is with JCM still, 7th round pick, but explosive, good measurables. If he can start to kind of put it together, could be an okay season. He could return value as a top 24 running back if everything breaks his way. That's a big if, though.
Katron Allen. We're both not the biggest fans of Katron Allen. Is he going to factor in at any points, or what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe down the stretch, but it feels like what's his name? The guy from Pittsburgh last year who disappeared.
Caleb Johnson.
Thank you.
Milk carton boy.
It won't be that bad, but I don't think that Allen is going to factor into this running back room much at all.
Hatzer, unfortunately, they did not pay Rachaad White a bunch of money. Do you know what his contract is, Storey?
It was $4 million, I think.
$1.75 million.
Oh, who am I thinking?
Can you believe that's all he got? Chris Rodriguez makes three times as much money.
Yeah, I was thinking of Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah, no. Rachaad White, the deal is worth up to $2 million, fully base valued with $1.715 million guaranteed. $400,000 signing bonus, an additional $2 million in performance incentives, bringing the maximum potential value to $4 million. That is literally bottom of the barrel. Rachaad White's worth more than that. But unfortunately, the contract argument doesn't exist because it's nothing. He makes less than Tyler Algier, less than Chris Rodriguez makes. What was Chris Rodriguez? Was it 2 years, $9 million?
It was two years, just over 8, I think.
Yeah, dude. So it's essentially less money than Chris Rodriguez.
That's about what Tyler Algier got. Maybe Tyler Algier got a little bit more, but
I think Algier was 2 for 9. 2 for 10-ish. Yeah, check that out because it's really low, dude. It's a 1-year deal. Rachaad White's earned more than that. I don't know. Why did Rachaad White take this deal? Was he promised why? Because this is nothing. Yeah. This is pennies, bro.
2 years, $10 million for Chris Rodriguez. His base is 4.2 this year. He carries a dead cap of 4.2. He carries a dead cap of 4.2, which is 4 times or twice as much as the dead cap for Rachaad White. There's no guarantee that Rachaad White makes this roster with that.
There is. They need a pass catcher, right? They need.
Okay.
I mean, that's damning. The fact you said that though is not ideal.
Yeah. But yeah, guaranteed $6.2 million guaranteed for Chris Rodriguez.
And dude, I was a Rachaad White guy. The year he broke out and had all that volume, but that's all it was. And the nice thing is he showed he could handle the volume as a pass catching running back, but he is so inefficient. Even out of Arizona State, it wasn't. There were some comps to Le'Veon Bell, and I think I might have made
volume, and it was pass catching at Arizona State. The pass catching at Arizona State was outstanding. And again, Rachaad White, he's past the age apex. There's not a whole lot there anymore. We saw every year over the last 3 years, his efficiency has declined in Tampa Bay. Not going to be a great year for him. He's going to kind of muddy the waters a bit for JCM. He'll always have a spot in my heart because he helped me win a college fantasy football championship. But I'm not going to hang my hat on Rachaad White.
Have you ever seen Rachaad White break a tackle?
Probably.
It's an honest question.
I don't remember. But
I think so.
Yeah.
No, he's here. We don't care.
2 years, $12.2 million.
Right. So, yeah, Rachaad White's. Who do you want in a vacuum? Let's call it full PPR to give Rachaad White an edge. We're talking about an upside shot here. Rachaad White or JCM?
JCM.
Even in full PPR?
Yeah, I think so. Again, there's going to be some pass catching games, but realistically, how much damage can Rachaad White do for you? JCM is going to have the goal line role, theoretically, hypothetically, hopefully.
Well, Katron Allen should have it.
He's a rookie, man. Like
I know this has all that. This has the recreation of the Buccaneers backfield. I see it right now, right? JCM is Bucky Irving, Rashad White is Rashad White, and Katron Allen's Sean Tucker.
Right.
It's awful. You can't trust any of these guys.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it. But if you're asking me, like, gun to my head, what color do I want the baby to be? Then I want JCM.
You want it to be Milano, right down the middle. Yeah. All right, wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver 23. That has gone up a little bit. 46 ADP. So you're looking at end of the fourth round for Terry McLaurin. Antonio Williams, wide receiver 64. And we will throw in potentially our boy Brandon Ayuk, who is going right around that same range in the mid 60s. You're hung up on some wide receiver in the mid 60s, man.
Yeah, I don't know who's on
Terry McLaurin, baby, all day long, right? All day long, we're going.
Yeah, you know what's wild is 10 years ago, your wide receiver 23 would be being drafted in like the 7th round. But the fact that tight ends and quarterbacks in particular have gotten pushed way down means that the other skill position players get dragged. I couldn't believe you said he was wide receiver 23 being drafted in the 4th round. That's crazy to me.
Did you have the whole Arizona State team when you won that championship?
You know, what's funny is it was a Big Ten, Pac-12, SEC league, and now Arizona State is not in the SEC. And so the year that Camp Scatabo had, not last year but the year before, everybody was like, "Oh man, we could have Camp Scatabo. He's popping off."
You mean the Pac-12, not the SEC?
It was a Big Ten, Pac-12, SEC league.
Yeah, you said they weren't in the SEC. They were never in the SEC.
I'm sorry. They were in the Pac. My bad. They were in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I'm not a college guy, but I know some things.
Thanks. Thanks for pointing it out, Jonathan. I'll tell you
is this your only championship you've ever won? You mentioned this championship.
First of all,
you're like an old guy talking about a fucking softball.
I've won half of the championships in this league since I joined this league 10 years ago. Okay, I just closed out my 3rd championship in a row, back-to-back championships. Also very good in other leagues, but this league I'm absolutely dominating. And I'll tell you, my very first championship was the first year I played. There was a guy in Arizona State. His name was Devin Lucian. I'll never forget that guy's name. I was playing against the guy who had the Arizona State quarterback. I'm like, I need some kind of hedge. So I found the 3rd wide receiver on that team. And I'm like, this guy caught a touchdown last week or whatever. And I threw him in my lineup. He caught 3 touchdowns that week. Nailed it.
You know what really grinds my gears? This Lindsay Lohan. Eh? Lindsay Lohan with all those little outfits, jumping around there on stage, half naked with your little outfits. You know, you're up there jumping around, and I'm just sitting here with my beer. So, you know, what am I supposed to do? What do you want? You know, are we gonna go out? Is that what you're trying to? Why are you leaping around there, throwing those things all up over there in my face? Huh? What do you want, Lindsay? Tell me what you want.
All right. So now we know that Storey didn't just win 1 championship. He's won a 5 out of 10. He's loud and proud, brother.
Back it up.
If you went the other way, you'd be carrying a flag. You'd be going to the fucking meeting or those marches. You'd be fuck yeah, dude. I would be the same way. I'd be the biggest loud and proud dude ever. The community, son. Let's go. All right, Antonio Williams, 64. You like that wide receiver 64?
Do you need to? I mean, I do like the talent. We talked about it during our.
I don't.
Yeah, I like the talent. I like the opportunity as long as they don't sign a veteran or Brandon Ayuk. Although at this stage, I'm not sure what kind of damage Brandon Ayuk's going to do to anybody's value there. If anything, it's going to help Terry McLaurin, right? I think we can get a better value on Terry McLaurin. Wide receiver 60. What round is that being drafted in?
I don't know. I didn't write it down.
Okay,
so, I don't have the ADP. It's late. 14th, 13th.
He's probably a guy that I will take a shot on. I know I mentioned earlier with Malachi Fields, I'm not really interested in that because he's going to get cut. I think that there's more opportunity for Antonio Williams than there is for Malachi Fields. So he's a guy that I'm willing to take a shot on.
You know what Brandon Ayuk will help? He'll help the local police force meet their quota on speeding tickets. That's for sure.
Because he's gonna post it online, right?
just there's the cop scrolling Instagram and just like he's like, oh, there's a ticket. Hell yeah, bro.
Oh yeah.
I get to work from home today and write a ticket. The Brandon Ayuk. Chickaconquo, 10 and 18. ADP 150. Chickaconquo or TJ Hawkinson?
Chickaconquo.
I think I might want Chickaconquo.
You're gonna have to scrape some bottoms and barrels to get me to say T.J. Hawkinson. Like I would take Greg Dulcich over T.J. Hawkinson.
I'm not frozen, by the way. You like that? Dude, have you not learned your lesson? Have you not learned your lesson about the Tucker Kraft last year, the tight end whisperer? Like you had this, you said I was crazy for Tucker Kraft. Now you're saying I'm crazy for T.J. Hawkinson. Please stop it.
I trust you on the ascension. I don't trust you on guys who look like they're playing backyard football on Thanksgiving.
I am so. Can I just fast forward 4 months and then after week 5, T.J. Hawkinson's 10-4, and I am just coming on the screen, just literally just all over the screen.
I can't wait.
Unfortunately, the screen doesn't have the camera, so you wouldn't see it. I would just have it streaking down my fucking computer.
Now I got to think about that.
There you go. Yeah, you do. It's milky white substance. Okay, so Chickaconquo we like.
Yeah.
Best ball. Also for redraft, if you want to wait, I think is he a nice pairing with Kenya Sadiq, right? Early season stuff, especially if Brandon Ayuk signs because you know damn well he ain't gonna be in shape to start the year.
Kenya Sadiq. I was trying to think of another guy you could platoon him with. Maybe Isaiah Likely. Right. You're gonna want to kind of run these guys together and hope you. Maybe stream after that and hope you kind of land on a guy. Hopefully one of those guys could pop off, plant your flag on somebody. Sadiq's not a bad one. I'd be okay with that.
All right. That is the NFC East. I didn't say AFC East. I said NFC East. How about that? I think we're pretty much caught up on comments. I've done 8 hours. I did 3 hours, over 3 hours last night. So I did 8 hours the last 2 nights. So
goodness.
I'm grinding, bro. You know what? I told you it's a make or break year for me. Not that it's really mad. Let's see if we got any subs this video. Got a couple supers. Appreciate that. Let's see. Damn it, we got no sub. Actually, lost a sub somehow. That happens because we have almost 2,900 people. Not necessarily people that are watching now, but people in the past that just like delete their YouTube or whatever, and you lose a subscriber. But it's not a good. You don't like seeing that. You don't like seeing that.
People delete their YouTube.
Or maybe they're sick of getting a million notifications from all the shorts I put out.
Oh, you know what? So I rarely like unsubscribe. I'll turn off notifications. I rarely unsubscribe. There was a guy that I was following on YouTube, small creator, and his videos aren't great, whatever, but he's a small creator trying to support him, etc. He started posting like 15 shorts a day, and it just spammed my feed. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. Like my feed is, I like my shorts and there's way too much. I'm like, you can't do this. Like I can't fathom you want to do this. Like, blah,
Are
blah,
you getting
blah.
notifications for them? Because
No,
usually they don't come up notifications.
My shorts page and it's like him, and then Professional Fanatics, and then some other stuff I follow, etc. And then it's him, and I'm like, I can't do this. I unsubscribed. I rarely unsubscribe to small creators, but if you're gonna do that, spam my feed, I'm out.
Also, I don't exactly know too much about the whole YouTube game. Obviously, it's taken 5 years to even get to where we're at now, which is still a grassroots campaign at best. But there's like an algorithm, like you can't post more than 3 or 4 a day because then they don't even get the algorithm because the YouTube's like fucking stop doing this. So like 3 or 4 is ideal, spread out between hours. Like don't post 2 in the same hour. Just that one of them won't catch on. So the fact he was doing that is just stupid, and it's also a lot of work on his end. So I do 3 or 4 a day at most, and that's kind of what I've read about. I need to learn more, but anyone that knows anything, because I feel like this is every show with Storey is great. I think every show we have is pretty goddamn great because you're getting a lot more stuff than just fantasy.
Well, yeah, I agree. As long as I keep the booze intake under control.
Dude, that wasn't a bad show. I mean,
not my finest. I'll be the first.
No, it wasn't your finest. But again, you at your less than ideal is still like, Michael Jordan could play the flu game and put up fucking and win the game, right?
Flu game. Pretty good one. That's a famous one.
Yeah. If you put Brandon Ayuk on a flu game, I mean, he's not showing up. He's calling in sick, right?
Probably going to go like he's going to be filming himself driving late with Kleenex and NyQuil and all that kind of stuff.
So you must think I do a terrible job because I'm usually pretty half in the bag when I start every one of these shows.
No, you've been very good. I can tell back last summer, though, when we were doing the movie pods, when we were doing 2 in a row, and, we film for like 2 hours in a row, and then we take a break, and then we film for another 2 hours. By the end of the second movie pod, you were a lot more punchy. That's when I could tell your game kind of fell off. On the stream,
I remember getting pretty angry at you in the Matrix pod.
Yeah.
For some reason, not like angry personally, but like you would like disagree with the point. I was like, "What the fuck? You think you know about the Matrix? Like I was in that motherfucker, dude. Like we are in the Matrix."
Yeah, like I said, that I could tell. I've never seen that on the stream though, so consider yourself in control.
There was a couple. I think the first beer chug night, I had like 8 of them, and I already had like 9 beers. So like 17 beers is one thing, but to chug 8 beers, like chugging a beer almost equals like 1.5 beers. Like when you just chug it that fast. So like that was essentially like a 25 drink night. And like I have my limits. I know my limits. Sometimes it hits you. Like usually, you know how it is when you're not doing something, you're talking. When you get done doing said thing, or God forbid, if you drive home, don't do that. And you get home and you lay in your bed and you start spinning. You're just like, wow, I was drunk, but I didn't feel drunk.
Oh yeah, like end of the night, walk in, take your pants. You know, my wife drives everywhere. She doesn't drink. So I get to, imbibe, come home, and then like I'm like, oh, I'll just lie down on the couch here for a second. Nope. Like there's a difference between falling asleep and passing out.
I never pass out. My mind doesn't stop. Dakota says, I do appreciate how Storey just quickly accepted the Jordan comparison to his skills. He's just like, yeah, that's cool. I like that comparison, right? Like,
Blue game, no big deal. Whatevs.
Yeah. If I compared you to Gilbert Arenas, you probably wouldn't have as highly of a good reaction.
I don't know who that is.
You know who Gilbert Arenas is? The guy that brought guns to the arena?
No. Was he?
Come on, Agent Zero, bro. He had multiple 50-point games. Washington. He was on Washington.
He
doesn't know NBA.
I'm not a basketball guy, bro.
Storey's the whitest dude ever.
Yeah,
all right.
Pretty white.
I guess when you gel your hair in your 40s, you can't watch the NBA.
Although I did start to get a couple of gray hairs.
I can take my hat. I can get my hat normal now, right? Because we're done talking about
we're done with the Dan Quinn comparisons. What do you think about the Spurs performance last night? Not even putting up 100 points.
Ugh, I didn't watch it, but Hencher's pretty white. Well, last thought on the Commanders, and we'll get to a comment or two, and then we got to get out of here. What's it going to take for Dan Quinn to get fired? I guess it's just the way I'll phrase it. Like, if they start off 4-6, is he getting fired? 3-6, because they have, I think, unrealistic hopes for this year.
I think he's going to get the season, and he does feel like he'll be on the chopping block at the end of the year. But I feel like he's probably going to get the benefit of the doubt for the season. Last year, he definitely got the benefit of the doubt, right? 5-12, but that was chock full of injuries and lack of depth. This year, his
injuries he caused, he left all those guys in the game.
I'm not disagreeing, but you know how
he might as well have taken out Jaden Daniels' elbow himself.
You know how these owners are, man. Like they find a guy they like and stick with him. That's why a guy like Mike McCarthy can get bounced around the league.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy. Gross.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to have to show on Mike McCarthy
conversation. Bad owner anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him keep down. I don't know.
Isn't he gone? No, isn't Snyder gone?
I didn't think so.
Yeah, they forced him out, man. They forced Snyder out years ago.
Years ago? No way, man.
Yeah. What did Dan Campbell say? Did he say they already won or something about the Rams? Saying essentially, let's why do we even play the season? I think that was the Cliff Notes. Dakota, let me know about that because I didn't read that. I saw your comment in the Discord. I'm thinking that's what he said. It's something like, all these Rams like fanboys and just the media saying they're going to win it all. He's just like, let's just not play the season then, which is, in the NFL, like it's not the NBA. NBA, you can build a super team. Like we all knew the Warriors are going to win that year with Kevin Durant. We knew it was going to happen. NFL, you have to actually earn it because it's a one-game sample in the playoffs. Yeah, Snyder's gone, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out when.
3 years ago.
Is that when it was?
I'm guessing 2022, 23. I wonder what he's doing now.
July 20th, 2023. Yeah. All right. My bad.
I want to have the I love the clip. Yes, people are already crowning the Rams. As they should. Not so much they're going to win. They're the best team in the NFL. Like, is there any debate on that, at least roster-wise story? Win now situation? Like, if this was a fantasy situation, you look at this roster in a dynasty, it'd be like, well, okay, I'll fuck. Doesn't mean you can't beat them, but...
You know what's interesting about this trade in general is the best player in that deal is Myles Garrett. I hesitate to say obviously, but I think it's obvious to everybody. He's obvious. They didn't just get the picks. Cleveland didn't just get the picks back. They got a another asset, right? I mean, not as great of an asset, or not even close to as great of an asset, but that's how you should be structuring your dynasty trades. Is don't just get the picks later. Get some known asset in return. Doesn't matter what it is, just get something out. Extract that little bit of extra value. That deal probably would have gone through because it's the Browns without Jared Verse, but the fact that they were able to get Jared Verse in there, it's a great trade on both ends. That's how you should be structuring your dynasty trades.
Yeah, and if I had to make a bet on who wins this trade, I'm going to say that the Browns won this trade because the Rams have to win a Super Bowl to make it a fair trade, if you ask me. Like, to the level of the playing field. If they don't win a Super Bowl, there's zero chance they win this trade. Jared Verse is good.
They got 2 years to make it happen because they extended Stafford. So I also heard people saying, like, there's a really big division online whether or not the Ty Simpson trade is bad or not trade, but the draft pick is bad, or the Ty Simpson trade is like next level. They're playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers.
It's bad.
I think that's. I'm just saying there's no prevailing consensus. So there's a lot of people out there who says it was a smart move by the team, the franchise, that Sean McVay knew about it. He was in cahoots. I don't know about that.
Dude, even if Ty Simpson was good, which he's probably not, it was a bad decision because you're winning. Look at all the other moves you've made. The McDuffie trade, now the Myles Garrett trade, the contracts, like it's a bad trade or a bad draft pick. Why are you taking a quarterback that's not going to help any player that's not going to help you? Like,
well, what are we doing? It makes the Ty Simpson trade look better because they knew they weren't going to have a first-round pick in the coming years to draft a replacement to Matthew Stafford. And my thing is, I doubt this trade was on the radar when they were making the draft selection.
Have the Packers won a Super Bowl since Aaron Rodgers left?
Not to my knowledge.
Have they been relatively close?
Not to my knowledge.
So the Jordan Love, which was 26th overall, whatever it was, it kind of did work because they got the quarterback of the future, but has it worked? Because if the ultimate goal is winning Super Bowls, which teams like the Packers and the Rams are going for, let's win them when we can win them. And the Packers did not win one the last 2 years with Rodgers, fact, and they haven't won one since he left. So bottom line is, unless Ty Simpson becomes, I don't know, like he's way more likely to be Zach Wilson than he is Peyton Manning. I mean, he is Zach Wilson. I think that's actually the comp we should make for Ty Simpson, right? Zach Wilson?
That's a pretty
Zach Wilson was a pretty good dude. Zach Wilson went second overall in the NFL draft, so better prospect. And I mean, at least he was during the process a better prospect than Ty Simpson.
Was a better prospect. I will agree with that. But
so there you go.
Flamed out very quickly.
And he actually had more college experience than Ty Simpson.
I'm not disagreeing. You're not going to find an argument for me. I think Ty Simpson's a bum.
No, it's just wild that you said there are factions of people, and I don't know who these people are. I'd love to have conversations with them about just how business works, and this is just bad business. And maybe it works out. I doubt it does because most of these quarterbacks – the bottom line of the story, numbers say that these quarterbacks don't work out. So for them to think that they will make this guy work, like Sean McVay is great. I know you don't like him. I know Dakota hates him. He's an elite top 3 coach. Okay, whatever, top 5 if you hate him. He's not a bad coach. Sean McVay is a genius. Sorry, he's a genius.
He's not.
Thank you. Well,
he's not a genius.
Well, he compared to his contemporaries, he is.
Okay, relative to the dumbest kids in the class.
That's who he's coaching against. I mean, he's had a dude. Sean McVay's been awesome.
It's like saying Bart Simpson is a genius when compared to
Nelson.
No, not Nelson.
Nelson.
I was thinking of
Millhouse.
No. Poindexter. What the hell's his name? God damn it.
I'm trying to name fucking Simpsons characters.
I know. Every once in a while, my brain ceases to work. I was thinking, it'll come to me.
Dead air. He's got to look up Simpsons characters. Yeah, we both just don't like Ty Simpson. And just the fact that now they're defending the pick.
Ralph Wiggum.
Ah, Ralph. I forgot. Ralph is the dumbest, right?
Yeah.
It tastes like burning. One of the best episodes, the Lord of the Flies ripoff. That's a really good episode.
That is a good episode.
Is The Simpsons still on?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like I think they're on for 2 more seasons. Listen, high quality Simpsons episodes, end of season 2 through the beginning of season 10-ish. Like that's classic Simpsons right there. Like 9 and 10 tend to fall off a little bit. 8 is peak Simpsons. That 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like there's no better television. There's some okay episodes in 11 too.
Simpson wasn't even quarterback 2 in that draft. Hot take. Well, Storey, you had him at 5. You had him out of your top 5. You had him at 6.
Out of the top 5. Goodbye.
Did you have him? Did you rank him though at 6, or is he like 8?
I don't remember. I honest to God.
Well, you didn't go that far, but
I don't remember what I did. I don't know.
Where would you have drafted Ty Simpson in the NFL draft this year in this class? Where would you become? 4th round?
7th round, no signing bonus.
Come on. So Carson Beck went in the 3rd round. Carson Beck went in the 3rd round.
That's from
Carson Beck or Simpson?
It's a line from Moneyball. Remember when Billy Beane?
Oh yeah.
Like, where would you have drafted me? Come on, cut the bullshit. Where 7th round, no signing bonus. Back to back. Yeah. No.
Carson Beck or Ty Simpson?
Carson Beck.
No, don't go that far.
Wait, let me check my rankings. Hang on.
You had Carson Beck in there for sure. Carson Beck or Cade Klubnik?
I'm gonna pull up my rankings.
Carson Beck or Drew Aller?
Who the hell is this guy? Wide receiver. There it is.
Someone took Drew Aller in the dynasty draft.
Mendoza, Nussmeier, Green, Peyton, Klubnik. So I didn't go beyond 5. I don't know where I would have put these guys.
So you had Klubnik ahead of him. Klubnik went in the 7th round. So it says all. Yeah.
Might have gotten that one wrong. Time will tell.
Dakota says a couple drafts tonight. Dude, I have to take a night off from drafting. We're at 2:15. We've done 10 hours the last 3 nights. And if I do that, we're going to be on here for 4 hours again. Not saying I don't want to. Also, I realized I've already spent 45 hours in best ball in 4 nights, which isn't a crazy amount, but essentially the money I'm making is going towards the best ball, which is fine. I get free drafts, but
I don't know what the usual amount is.
Well, considering it's June.
Oh.
I'm saying just 45 this month, and it's June 5th. You know what I mean? Like if I extrapolate that number, I can sound like Flock Fantasy. If you extrapolate the 4 days of spending $45 on drafts, and you do that for the whole month of June, you're going to be sitting at $220 in June spent. And I have my budget. $1,000 best ball budget. Story is my limit. I said 5 to 1.
That's a hard limit. That's like when the ladies go to Vegas and like my gambling is $80 per day, no more. If I run out,
it's not that that's a hard limit. My range, I need five times more money in redraft than I do in best ball. That is what I found would be like a good gauge, because I can't guarantee, and I can't guarantee redraft as well, but history says I can. Best ball is much more random. And if you go even money in best ball and redraft, you're going to have a lot of years where you lose money. I'm not in the business of losing money. I'm in the business of doubling my money. And yes, I could win huge in these best ball drafts. I could turn $1,000 into $500K Story, but it's like scratch offs. Like most likely you don't, even if you're no ball, there's so much variation in these leagues based on injuries and, giant player pools,
no pickups. Right. So you do have more control in redraft.
Well, and the fact that you're going against in the playoffs, you're going against teams that you're not in the same lobby as. So like some people it's the same thing as like an auction draft, like, which I don't like auctions because it takes one moron to ruin an auction draft and give some value to somebody else. And it takes one dumb draft of like 3 people in there doing dumb shit and someone building and getting a fucking awesome team. Now that could be me and you, Story, getting that awesome team in said best ball league. But I know in my Fantrax Publics and my home leagues, like I am in that draft room. I know what's going on. And home leagues, I can make trades. Fantrax, I know there's no trades, so I can make the proper draft picks knowing there's no trades, and there's free agent wire, right? There's waiver wire, and there's start sit. Like that's another edge. There's edges to be had. In best ball, it's just said. I mean, I love that. I love best ball for the aspect of that, but I do. What is Brown for Andrew Berry? Brown for Andrew Berry.
I don't know. Andrew Berry.
I don't know, but you know what? I'm a man of my word, and I do set my goal, so that just hit the goal. So I guess I do have to do a best ball draft tonight. I mean,
if nothing else, keeping your word. Oh, did you hear about the Christian Watson extension today?
Story, you're not getting a cut of that super chat, motherfucker.
That's fair. No, that's only fair. You got to do the draft. Do you hear about the Christian Watson extension today?
4 years, $100 million, right?
4 years, 110.5.
They also extended Jaden Reed too. Like, this is months ago, but
Yeah.
Matthew Golden doesn't make any money. He's just like, what the fuck?
Dude, that is a lot of scratch to pay for a guy that has never cracked 750 yards in a season.
Take the stats away for a guy that's never stayed healthy. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, that's why he's never cracked.
Why hasn't he cracked? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
I guess they're confident. Like, he was very productive last year when he was healthy. It just seems like all in on one guy, right? I mean, it must mean they have no faith in Golden to take the next step.
Andrew Berry's the Browns GM. Dakota is the highest in the Browns, and I will give him a shout out real quick. I also owe you a beer chug for that, Dakota. You're the man. And I have to create a new stream because this one is horizontal. I got to make a new one for vertical and get my gear set up. He has been touting the Deshaun Watson thing and drafting as such. He has so much Deshaun Watson in best ball in the last round. If he starts and he plays all year, that's the smashiest pick in the history of best ball. You know, that's how you win large sums of money.
Mm-hmm.
Where the risk wasn't there. Now, I was saying the risk was bad just because I feel like he's not starting the whole year. But if he starts the year and he actually plays well, how can they bench him, right? How? They can't.
If he plays well, but it's not going to take much for them to yank him, though, especially with how he's looked in OTAs. Not confident that he can regain his form.
There was, dude, the reports on the Browns quarterback situation so muddy because you saw the Shador's report today. He looks great, and they're so happy with him. It's like, it's just stupid. It's like a middle school relationship where it's like, I like this guy, I'm gonna pass him a note, and then I'm gonna ignore him for 2 days. I'm like, dude, does she like me? Is she passing notes to somebody else? We don't know. Fucking whores.
I said it when we did the AFC East preview. I think it's going to go back and forth all year long until we finally get probably Watson to start, and then he gets pulled 6 games in for Shador Sanders because the fans are clamoring for it.
Gun to your head. Who starts more games? Shador, Deshaun Watson, right now, June 5th. Give me your take.
Shador Sanders, because there's pressure on the organization to play a guy that has what the franchise or what the fans think is like the ability to be a franchise player. Like, there's too much hype surrounding him. Deshaun Watson, what are we doing with him after this year? There's no reason.
Would you say that? Well, they definitely shouldn't bring him back just because the optics and like what he did to that franchise, and it wasn't even his fault. It was their fault for bringing him in. So let's not blame Deshaun Watson. Here, you're going to say Deshaun Watson's the front runner to start week 1, though, right?
That's what I think. That's what I think. And again, the rumors are going to go back and forth all year long before we start the season. But if you're asking me, like, how do I see this playing out? It's Deshaun Watson to start. He gets 4 games. He's horrendous. Then they go to Shador Sanders, and they ride it out within the rest of the season. I don't think Dylan Gabriel's on this roster come August 15th.
Well, Dylan Gabriel. Dean says he thinks Taylon Green starts the last 2 games. That's something we have to think about, too. He is super raw, but if the season's over, if you're trying to tank, what better quarterback than Taylon Green gives the fans some excitement, right? But he is not winning a game in the NFL his rookie year. There's just no way. Way too raw. That's the perfect thing.
Way too raw. He's not going to get the reps that he needs to develop as a rookie. And yeah. So it'd be nice. I'd love to see him play an NFL game. I think it's like for fantasy, give me all the Taylon Green if he starts a game. For real life, not so good.
All right, we're going to do a puppy after this. I have to set up the new stream, guys. Give me 10 minutes. Storey, you did 2.5 hours. I'm looking at another 3-hour plus stream again. We're rocking on this motherfucker in June. And I owe a beer chug as well to start the stream, the next one. So Dakota, you're drafting, right? Dakota Mouth, you guys are going to tune in and draft with me. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it by myself, I guess. I have to show I have to try out that left-handed thing we were talking about earlier. I have to try it. Arch Manning refuses to be drafted by the Browns, number 1. Arch Manning's going to have a long list of teams he doesn't want to go to, and unfortunately, they're going to be 4 of the top 5 teams with he doesn't want to go to the Jets. He doesn't want to go to the Cardinals. He doesn't want to go to the Browns. He doesn't want to go. Just fucking play. The Mannings need to step off their fucking high horse and just you know how in nature you send your young out to the wolves essentially, and if they survive, they survive. Let's do that.
Yeah. I mean, have the Mannings come out and said that they don't want to play for any given franchise, or is this all speculation and rumors?
It's not speculation. It's just what they do.
Well, I'm just saying, has there been a public statement by anybody in Arch Manning's camp saying, like, we're not interested in playing for this organization? I know that happened in the past, Doesn't seem to happen very often. I'm just wondering if I missed something and that actually is the case, or if we're just
it's it's not even. I don't think it's speculation though. It's just past history, right? Like,
yeah.
If they did this with Eli, like now that you have this was before Peyton Manning became Peyton Manning, and Eli is now going to be a Hall of Famer and won 2 Super Bowls. Like they're definitely doing this shit with Arch, bro.
Yeah, it can happen. I mean, Arch, I don't know if he can. He's got to have a really good season in order to write his ticket, though.
Last question. Mouse in here. He can help answer this one. Will Club Nick start any games this season?
Nice
sound.
I mean, probably, right? It's the Jets. Like, what else are they going to do? Like, it's just by default. I think that I don't know, man. Like, Geno Smith could regain form. And if he does, then it's his all year long. And there's lower expectations on him. He had an amazing season. He had a relatively good season in Seattle. He goes down to Las Vegas. There's some high expectations. He performs poorly, so I think the expectations are lowered. So probably gets a longer leash than some other guys. Probably not. Probably not. No on Cape Klubnik starting this year.
Mouse said last game makes sense, right? Like a Patrick Mahomes situation. Essentially, that was when they were making the playoffs.
Yeah, that was when didn't Alex Smith lead them all that year, and they
and they were in the playoffs
17,
already. But
yeah,
the same situation. If you're out of it, like why play Geno week 18?
Well, there's a difference. If the Jets are locked into their playoff spot, sure, but if it's week 18 and Geno Smith has played all year long, you're not going to pull Geno Smith to play Kate Klubnik.
Fair. All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
Great show.
Good show.
Appreciate you. Elite show, actually. Some random awesome tangents, some really good analysis. We always appreciate Mike Storey for leveling me out and bringing the best out of me. So I do appreciate you, dude.
We're going to wrap up this series next week, I assume.
Next week, we have the last 2 divisions. It's going to be the West, the AFC and NFC West. Some juicy divisions, man. 6 awesome teams and 2 shit teams, but that's better than what we've been doing. So
I think there's 5 awesome teams, 2 shit teams, and 1 mediocre team. But we'll get to that.
The Chiefs. I know what you're saying. You son of a bitch. Even though we went all in on the Chiefs in our dynasty league, that's because of me. Blame me. Blame Canada.
All right, let's. Good luck on the draft. We'll see you all next week.
All right, 10 minutes, guys. Give me 10 minutes to set it up. I will send it in the Discord. You'll see it pop up for you guys. Appreciate you, Storey. Appreciate everyone. Thanks for the supers. Thank you, Dakota. Thank you, Mouth. Everyone else, love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. We're out.
You just seem like a good dude. I thought I'd see if you want to grab a beer, that's all. I'm glad you called. We get home safe, Pistol.
You got it, Jobin.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Oh, what'd you say?
I don't know. You nicknamed me Pistol, and I just called you Jobin. It means nothing. I'm drunk. I'm gonna call a cab.
All right, man. You have my number, yeah?
I got you stored in my iPhone.
All right. If you need me, call, okay?